Welcome to OSRPG and tonight's episode 9 of Vampire the Masquerade Dark City. I'm Doug. I'll be the storyteller. And tonight I would like to introduce the cast.
My name's Angela, also known as Gangrel Kitty, and I'll be playing Lillith tonight.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing Hannibal Wagner.
Hello, I'm Ryan, and I'll be playing Herkermer Milton.
As you may notice, Xylus, the person who plays Charlie, is not here. He's at home, getting better, and so we hope to see him next week. Without any further ado, let's be vampires. Desire. Desire is such a funny thing. We all desire something. We all imagine the future. And we all think about what we want out of that future. What would make us happy? What would satisfy a need? Desire leads to decision, which often can lead to envy if that decision does not see the fruits or the accomplishment of such desire. Envy can turn into obsession, and obsession can turn into destruction. It's a fragile balance, especially for vampires. Kindred in our story teeter on that edge of accomplishment and obsession. Will they achieve their desire? Or will they fall victim to somebody else's obsession? We are going to begin tonight first by finding out just how hungry some of us are. So first I would like all the characters to make a rouse check, as it is the next evening and you awaken from your slumber. I see that Herkermer has succeeded.
Very much so.
Okay. And Hannibal, what was the results of your arouse check?
I succeeded as well.
Okay. And Lillith?
I got the 2 fangs.
Oh, so it's a success. Okay.
Is it a success?
Is it?
What happens when you crit on a rouse check?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, just checking.
It's just success, pass or fail. Okay. But we're not finished there. Herkermer, as you left the park last night and wandered back to the coterie haven, you mentioned that you wish to attempt to heal some of the damage before you awaken.
Yes, I do.
So please.
First roll.
Okay.
I did not succeed.
Okay, so you go up a hunger.
It puts me in hunger 4.
Mm-hmm. Do you wish to continue? If you go to hunger 5, you will be at risk of frenzy, just like a normal vampire.
All right. I still heal, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Regardless of whether or not you succeed or fail, you will still heal 1 superficial damage.
All right. I think I'd like to keep going.
Okay. Big money.
Success.
Okay. And do you wish to continue? I feel like that TV show, you know, where they like, do you wish to call a lifeline, you know, like or something.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
Except it's like vampire version, so it's Who Wants to Go into Frenzy?
Who wants to go into frenzy? Do you wish to go to frenzy?
And I think I'll stop here.
Okay. So you heal 1 point of damage?
2.
2 points of damage. So you got 2. We'll get back to you in a minute.
All right.
Lillith, you awaken. A buzzing on your cell phone and a message on your voicemail giving you the alarmed sounds of Frank, your boss at the for the EMT services. He exclaims, "Hey, new guy Johnny called out. Can you get can you cover? I sent a guy over to cover so you could cover his shift for an hour or two, if that's okay."
For an hour or two?
It's a voicemail, so your response falls deafened on the cell phone's ears. But as normal, he explains that Johnny, the new guy, is basically calling out, and he has already sent somebody by your residence to pick you up for your for just so you can cover for an hour or two, in that kind of like passive but very, very, very intrusive way. As you hang up on the voicemail, you hear a familiar honk of an ambulance outside, and then a couple minutes later, a knock on the door.
I'll go answer the door, rubbing my eyes, trying to start the coffee.
You see Walter, fairly tall, older, dark-skinned man, who often seems pretty good at his advice and talking, and is a good shoulder to cry on, you feel, although you've never cried on his shoulder. "Hey, baby. What's up?"
Just woke up. I guess we're rolling.
"Yeah, sorry about, Frank, there's a transfer, apparently. Supposed to be getting a new job. Has he not approved that at all?"
I don't know what's going on. I just do what the voicemails tell me to do.
You really should stand up for yourself. I mean, I know Frank's nice and all. You don't want to let him down. I mean, I know he means best intention. I think he thinks that that it's good for you. I mean, it is. You really seem to get something out of it, a lot more than other folks. Certainly more than Jake. Well, actually, Jake gets a lot out of it, just not the right types of,
Yeah, it's true. Jake's insane.
Well, we got somebody coming in, so it shouldn't be too long. A couple runs.
All right. You want some coffee?
Oh, I already got some. I got some for you too, but
Okay.
Yeah. So you get ready for work, and grab whatever you're gonna grab for after work. And leave with Jake or with Walter. Sorry. It's a pretty uneventful night. Hour and a half seems to pass pretty uneventful. You have like somebody who basically fell down, had some stitches that he needed to get taken care of, and nothing crazy. At least which is typical for early in the evening before things really heat up. You are getting off. He drives you up to the... Would you get let off at the coterie haven or your own haven?
Once I get dropped off at my own house.
Okay. He opens the door, reaches past you, opens the door, and he's like, "Hey, you take it easy. You take it easy. I'm gonna talk to Frank about you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Walter.
If you got a good job coming in, I mean, because the place is a really like a high-tech lab or something, that's gotta be some good pay.
Yeah, it'd be a foot in the right direction.
And you don't need this every night. I mean, it's so crazy. Sometimes I don't even know if I can handle it. And we're short-staffed all the time, but you need to take care of yourself. Okay?
I appreciate that, man.
Drink some vitamin C. You look a little pale.
Thanks. I'll get out, close the door, and just kind of stand there for a minute, looking around, looking for the bird.
Bird is actually not there. It's the first time, at least in recent nights, that you have seen the bird absent from at least your home.
Okay. I'll go ahead and walk in.
Okay. You get a phone call from Deacon.
Hello?
Hey, kind of needed to talk, to you. I didn't know whether or not you wanted to drop by or what, but,
Well, I just got home. If you want to drop by here, I don't care either way.
okay. Where's your place?
I'll give him the address.
Oh, all right. Sure. Some minutes pass by, and you receive a knock at the door.
I'll go ahead and open the door.
You see Deacon, dressed in a very kind of casual, sort of wrinkled dress shirt that looks a little like, like intentionally wrinkled with some stained jeans. He has his sleeves rolled up. He has an undershirt that exposes his tattoos, which recently he admitted to you was from the same place that you received your tattoos for the perfect dream. He's standing there, and he's looking around, he's like, okay.
Yeah, come on in.
Sorry, I didn't know you lived in Krieg's patch.
Yeah. We need to address that. So what's up?
I gotta... Remember I said my sire would probably send for me?
Yeah.
Well, last night she sent for me. So... she's gonna want to meet with you. I just wanted to give you the heads up, because she's gonna send somebody, I don't know when. She's old school, so like back in the day they used to have like messengers, like, and it's all formal type stuff. She had a lot of questions, obviously. I tried not to talk too much about it, but I didn't want to rouse her suspicions, that there was something up or whatever. I tried to talk you guys up quite a bit. She seems pleased, so it's not a bad thing. But she's definitely going to send one of her ghouls at some point. She didn't know... She had a lot of questions about Charlie once she found out I always had to tell her. I guess she's gonna try to pull some strings, to at least allow Charlie to visit. She's influential.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with boons?
No.
It's kind of like when you owe one of us, it's a big deal. For pretty much anybody, it's kind of the only way that we can really have cash, like currency with each other, because we don't really care about money necessarily. We don't need to eat or, So she has a couple boons. She's gonna pull some strings and see, because she wants to do everything in person. Of course, it's your decision. You can decline, but she probably wouldn't respond very well to that. Like I said, she's owed school, so when she owes somebody, more than likely she's probably just gonna want to talk.
So this means we have to go to the east or the west side of the river?
Yeah, she does. She doesn't come to you. You go to her. But that's the reason why it might take a little longer. I don't know when. She said she would have to look into it. She can arrange pretty much anything, and so she might be able to get Charlie over there for a night, just so she can, arrange things. But I also wanted to let you know, because Charlie has friends. That would be probably a place that you could talk to him.
Okay, I'll let everybody else know.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. You
It's all
guys
good.
have been pretty cool to me. I would tell the others, but I don't really. I mean, you're the only one I've really talked to at any length, and I figure you go to the perfect dream, so it's
Yeah, we got common ground.
yeah. I think it's really weird. Nobody's bothered you here yet?
No.
That's strange. Something's going on.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, you're on somebody's patch. Or, well, sort of. I mean, this place isn't on the patch. The patch limit's actually back there, but nobody's bothered you here. It's really strange, especially Krieg. You're right next door to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit. Maybe we should get that taken care of tonight.
Well, you'd have to go to Krieg's place. He doesn't talk on phones.
Yeah, I know. I know I'd have to go over there. I don't necessarily like talking on phones either.
Yeah, I mean, you could deal with him. He's definitely, for one thing, he's pretty all about the let's make a deal, but he's cutthroat. He and I don't have a really good eye to eye because I used to be in the cam, and he generally doesn't trust a lot of us. But he's not like a diehard anarch either, so.
Well, that's good to know. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I guess I'll go.
I mean, if you want to chill out here, I don't think I have anything going on yet. What's wrong?
I You're really weird.
I'm kind of new.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not, like, that's the problem, is, like, you see, with Cole, I didn't really have a choice about anything I did because it was arranged by Sylvia, and with Sylvia I had absolutely no choice. So it's a little weird because at one instance I trust you because you are new. I mean, I get the sense, you know what I mean? Like, it's really strange. I almost don't know how to respond, but it's also like I know us, and it's kind of like you were always taught something, even if you disagree with it. You kind of like, Sylvia uses people. She taught me to use people. I just never really did. I never liked it. But so it's kind of like almost like I don't know how to respond, but I also kind of fight my instincts a little. What about your sire? I mean, like, what's going on? Like, you're new. I mean, is your sire, and what did your sire teach you about it?
My sire kind of drank and dropped. I know who he is by other people's, and I forgot the name out of character.
Asan Barada.
Oh, Barada, that's right. So Barada is my sire, but I don't know who that is.
Oh shit. Well, I've never met the guy. But he used to run with the real diehards back in the day. And I mean, he's got a rep for sure. He was responsible for quite a few destructions. His camp came against the Anarchs pretty hard back with the old prince, and he was one of the shit kickers, you know what I mean? Like, they always tell you about, you know, when you join the movement, it's like, you want to be like this, you know, like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. And he just left you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he gave me the basics. Don't eat other vampires, don't let humans know what we are, and the sun hurts. That's pretty much it.
It's kind of weird. I don't understand it. Oh, well. I don't know if I'm... Yeah, I mean, if you... I trust you. I just don't know if I trust myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'll let you know if she sends her ghoul.
Okay, no problem. And do you know where she's gonna send the ghoul?
Probably to my place first.
Okay. Because we have a headquarters now.
Yeah, she was trying to suss out where to get in contact, and I didn't feel that was something that she needed to know. And she kind of didn't prod, which is kind of a good sign, I guess. She's patient, so like I said, she's gonna take her time. But you know, it'll be coming. Don't worry.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Sure. He turns awkwardly to go, and then he stops, and he almost like he's gonna say something else, and then he just, you know, he's like, later, and opens the door and walks out.
Okay, close the door. And I will text. Does Herkermer has a burner phone, right? Okay. I will text I'll make a little group chat and just text meet in an hour.
Herkermer?
Herkermer text back. Where?
HQ.
I'll be there.
And I'll include Hannibal and Charlie, obviously, but Charlie's probably off doing something else.
You receive no response from Charlie. Hannibal, you receive the text. Do you respond?
Hannibal doesn't respond, but he will head there, in the hour or whatever.
Move over to Herkermer. You just received your text from Lillith. You had awoken fairly late in the evening as you were up during the day. You checked back at the old Princess Haven during the daytime and discovered the body was indeed gone. You left unable to acquire blood from Charlie's company, as it was full of employees and such. You almost you flip open, close your phone, or is it a smartphone? It's a smartphone, right?
Smartphone.
Yeah. So you go to put your phone away, and then you receive another ding, like as though another message was coming through.
Pull it out, look it up.
You see it's a text from Mitch. We need to talk.
Right now? Question mark.
Yeah, I gotta go to work here soon. Drop by my place? Question mark.
Sure. Be there in 15 or so. And Herkermer will go out to his affectionately named shitbox and pray for it to start and make his way over to Mitch's house.
Drive takes you some number of minutes. As Mitch lives in Old Town. You arrive at the apartment complex, middle of the night. Cars parked, people settling down, either having dinner, watching TV. You see the dull glow, but otherwise there's nobody out. You see lights on in different apartments, Mitch's including. You climb the steps to his apartment complex and knock on the door?
I do.
Okay. He opens up. He looks a little haggard. He's dressed in his scrubs that he typically wears to work, and he's carrying a thermos, and he's like, "Oh, hey, come on in."
I'll go in, close the door behind me.
You notice that the apartment has there is a relatively there's a good amount of furniture that is gone, and it looks like it's distinctly a little bit more empty. You notice the couch is still there, and there's a chair and a dining table. There are some folding chairs that have been put out kind of in the place of where the other furniture was. You notice all the knickknacks and the accoutrements that came with the house before are gone. He's like, takes a drink of his thermos, and he's like, sets it down. He's like, "Dude, look, I don't know how to say this. Did you break into my place?"
I did.
Okay.
I I was running around trying to figure out what happened to Emily, and you got connected with it, so I came by to check on you to see if you were here. You weren't, so I came in and had a look around.
Oh, gotcha. Did you take anything?
I took a picture of you and Emily because I wanted it to use to prove to others that I was working with that you could not have done what happened to Emily. I wanted to have proof that I could show that you two were together.
Because she came home and saw the picture was missing, and then like she broke up with me because she thinks that I either am involved with you and you attacked her, or I attacked her. I'm just I don't know how to say it, dude. Like, did you attack her?
No.
And he kind of gives you a look. Okay. I don't know. She broke up with me now, and I think she's seen somebody else. Because she's hanging out with somebody that I've never heard of. And, you know, she hasn't left a phone number or anything. And look, you know, I know you saved my life, and I was helping you, like, with your... But this is kind of raised some questions. What do you use all this blood for?
Well, unfortunately, I can't really tell you that.
Okay.
I'm not at liberty to say.
All right. Well... All right. I'm just, you know, I really like you.
If you need to step back...
Yeah. I
understand.
I got some stuff for you because you said you wanted some the other night. If I came across any more, and I was gonna give you that here, and then, but after that, no, I got it. I can't.
And I completely understand. I'm not gonna force you. I'm not a douchebag.
No, I get you. You got to get some space here. I got to try to get her back, man. This is just bullshit. And
hey, you know what? Despite my hand in disrupting what was between you two, you were already having problems beforehand. Remember?
Yeah, I know. I had problems. This is kind of
really worth it though.
Are you trying to convince him?
I'm sincerely asking him.
Okay. Yeah, she's really worth it, man.
Well,
I just got too trapped up in myself, and I couldn't really explain why I was fucking handing off blood to some random dude. No offense. I mean, that's just kind of what it would look like, right? It's kind of weird. I assume that you're just giving it to like homeless shelters or something like that, you know, but anyway.
Well, nothing illegal is happening with it.
Good. Well, I gotta go to work. Cool. I have a cool over here. Yeah, like I said, I had some stuff that you know you said I gotten for you. But this is it. This is done.
And I understand. And if she really means that much to you, move heaven and earth. Move heaven and earth.
Yeah, I got to.
But also keep in mind that it might just not work.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Don't get too wrapped up in a thing just because you think it'll work when it won't.
Mhm.
Okay?
Well, I gotta try.
Then with your try, move heaven and earth. And with that, Herkermer will walk over, grab a cooler.
Yeah, it's like a little styrofoam cooler. They
Yeah.
typically use for transplants or when they're transporting any sort of medical type stuff they need to keep cool. Inside you see, or do you check the inside or?
Not right now.
Okay. It's familiar and cold as though it's packed with ice with typical normal blood bags.
All right. And then I will give Mitch a little, one arm kind of side hug
Yeah.
kind of thing. And peace. And leave.
See what?
Oh, wait. Hold on one second. And he reaches into a pocket and he pulls out the picture that he grabbed and he sets it back down on the counter before he leaves. Hey, and if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call.
Yeah, no problem, man. Definitely.
Hey, I know you're done with this, but do you think by chance I could borrow like $40 from you? I want to go get a razor and I want to take care of all this.
Okay.
I just ain't got the cash on me.
Yeah, sure, dude. Here.
Thank you much.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
And he grabs his thermos and he puts on his backpack and he kind of opens up the door to let you out. He locks the door behind you because he's heading to work, right?
And if he chooses to take the elevator or the stairs, I will take the other one.
Okay. So he gets in the elevator.
I'll take the stairs down.
Okay.
Because I don't want to do one of those awkward, bye, and then walk the same direction kind of things.
So once you get out, you get out into the parking lot. You don't see where he went because he was in the elevator, right? And you were several floors up. You get into your shit box with your styrofoam container.
That when I get to the car, I will actually look inside.
You see several packed blood bags, packed all the way up to the brim, completely enclosed by ice.
All right.
And you don't normally feel very hungry, but you do realize that the hunger is quite bad. You look at the sanguine sustenance contained within those bags with a glaring eye.
We'll gingerly set the styrofoam down into the trunk, close the trunk, and drive back to the communal headquarters, stopping by a store on the way that would sell like an electric razor and hygiene products, and I get myself like a decent sweatshirt, decent looking sweatshirt. I'm doing what I can to look poor but not homeless anymore. You know what I mean? And then I go back to HQ, as it's being affectionately called, and commence to cleaning myself up until people show up.
Sure. Sure. You go back to start cleaning yourself up. Now, I will remind you that your kindred doesn't naturally grow body hair. At the moment of each sunset, the state in which you were embraced, which is slightly after-shaven type of individual, will return. It's fairly common in your experience when you are trying to maintain your presence as an EMT to shave every night in a nightly ritual. You're not like super beardy, but like, you know. And you shave off the hair and get rid of some of the grime that's been collecting and do all that sort of stuff. Lillith, you arrive at the Coterie Haven. First, I'll say.
Okay.
When Hannibal wants to arrive, he can arrive any moment afterward. Just go ahead and signal. So you come walking in downstairs. You hear... Well, you probably wouldn't hear it because you'd probably be done with all his normal situation. Because you said about an hour. You got there first. Maybe. It's up to you.
You shaved.
Yeah. Enough comments have been being made.
Looks
Figure I
good.
might as well try and look the part. Look better. I got new clothes too,
Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
at least for a while. Now I need to get a job again.
Talk to Charlie.
I was gonna see if he could hire me as like a consultant or some shit.
So I found out whose patch I live in.
Oh, you dude.
I
Who you
did.
living in?
Krieg's.
Krieg. Krieg has
Yeah.
a patch?
Apparently.
Hmm.
And I'm on it.
Alright. So that means we gotta get you moved.
Well, I guess we were going to move here. Maybe I should rent out my house.
Yeah. That'd be a good move. Little extra income on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, hope you don't mind. I brought home some lunch. And Herkermer will be going to work on the blood he was given. And he will offer a bag up to Lillith.
Lillith will take it.
I'll make sure to save one for Hannibal when he gets here.
Okay, you guys go to drink the bagged blood. Before we continue, Hannibal, you will be decidedly late to this scene. Because as you drink, both of you, the bagged blood, you feel a rush overcome you. For you, Herkermer, it's very much a rush of being satiated, your hunger being quelled, but there is an undertone that you've felt before. A sensation of warmth comes over you. A euphoria that is not the beast being quelled. You feel a weight settle into your bones. Your eyes grow droopy. And then you find yourself slowly falling to the floor. You are laying there, eyes open, stuck in a haze, as though your body is trapped in a fog. Situations are blurring. It's hard to tell time. You're staring at Lillith, lying there, and you hear a creak at the door. You feel hands upon you. You hear this strip of duct tape. Shh. You feel a bag over your head. As blackness encloses you, you feel yourself being lifted. Lillith, you watch, seeing from your perspective only footsteps. An individual clad in some sort of coat. Long. You feel you hear the same sensations. You see a bag being drawn over his head. him being lifted, carried off. And you are lying there trapped, swimming in euphoria, unable to do anything about it. Hannibal, you arrive at the Coterie Haven, correct? Or did you do something beforehand?
As a reminder to the desire that I was following, after especially last week's scene, I have returned to the original surveillance point that we had talked about. And so it would have made sense that I would have tailed Herkermer back to the HQ. If that's something you're okay with.
Sure.
I can easily be a distance behind if you feel like it's needed in order to appropriately tell the story you're telling with the scene. But generally speaking, that's what Hannibal was doing, right? Was doing surveillance at Water Street, and then followed Herkermer to Mitch's house, and then followed him eventually to the HQ, right?
Sure.
He was trying to give him some time, though, so it didn't seem like he was directly following him. So, like I said, it would make sense that Hannibal may have arrived too late, or whatever the case may be. Totally up to you.
So, when you, let's say you were moments behind, let's say you see the car drive off, a car drive off after a person gets put inside of it. Would you immediately follow in its wake, or would you go in and check the Coterie Haven? Because you would only distinctly see one person being put in.
Clarification then. What do I see regarding the person being put inside?
You see a person you've never seen before, with a sort of baby face. He's very scrungy and dirty, and he has a long overcoat, and he is carrying the form of Herkermer. You could definitely distinctly know Herkermer's body, like as far as his shape and size, so you can tell it's definitely Herkermer, especially wearing the clothes that he's wearing, because he's wearing one of the, let's say one of the outfits from the hospital that he had taken from the van. And he gets put into the car in the back of the trunk as you're driving up at a distance. You do see this with your heightened senses and the ability to see it through the blackness. And then the car drives off as you arrive. Right, now you can pursue the car. You definitely only saw one person in the one person from your vantage point being put in the car, which was Herkermer's form. And one person driving the car. The door to the Coterie Haven is left open, let's say.
I'm going to run inside the HQ as fast as I can.
Sure.
And sort of survey the scene very quickly, just to see if like people are dead, etc. Right.
You see Lilith's form laying there. There's a styrofoam crate with bagged blood. In her hand is the crumpled form of the bagged blood. And she's lying there. Her eyes are open. She's obviously not breathing or anything because she's kindred, but her eyes are moving around.
I'll do one of those like snapping things in front of her eyes. I'll be like, "Can you respond to me? Are you okay?"
You see her blink in response to you.
Okay, I'm going to pick up Lillith using potence so that I'm, just carrying her very easily. And then I'm going to run back to my car with Lillith, fireman carried over the shoulder.
Yeah. As you run in and put her in the car, assuming you're closing up after yourself and everything.
Yeah, I'll close the door quickly, but you know what I mean. Speed is the hope here.
Yeah. You set her into the car. As you are putting her in the car and stepping out because you're putting a form in the car and you're backing out to close the door. The bird that sits out her house flies down and is calling at you, and then flies off in the direction of the car that had driven down the street.
Hannibal is going to take this as a sign that perhaps the bird understands what the fuck is going on. He's gonna put Lillith in the passenger seat as best as he can, buckle her in that sort of like way, you know, where she's laying there in the chair. He's gonna hop over into the driver's seat, you know, around the car, and then peel off following the bird, and hopefully wherever Herkermer went.
You speed off in the direction of the car. Herkermer. The motion of time kind of doesn't really seem to affect you. It seems as though an eternity stretches. You feel yourself being picked up, moved. You hear voices in the background. You eventually hear a creaking of a door, fastening of a chain. You feel your body being let down. You feel chains wrapping around you. You hear a muttering. You feel a hand outstretched grab the bag from your head and rip it open off of your head. For a time, you're kind of dizzy, but then the euphoria fades. And you're sitting in a room as your senses hone in. All you can see at first is a body in a chair across from you. A desiccated corpse. Looks like it's rotted. The mouth gaping open shows the telltale signs of fangs on his skull, whose flesh is withered and been here for quite some time. Candlelight is lighting the form sitting across from you. Slowly looking around for danger, you notice the light from the candle. A set of familiar candles flickers across the wall. You see a photograph stapled to a wall, encapsulated in a sort of shrine. It's a photograph of an individual you've never seen before. Dark-skinned man wearing a jacket that's very familiar, as you are wearing a similar jacket, or maybe the same one. He is smiling. Draped around his shoulders is a familiar baby face. Desmond. The photo fades into another photo of the same dark-skinned man taking selfies with Desmond. One photo after another telling a litany, a passage of time. Smiling, friendship. You notice, though, the figure's smiles seem to fade each time, looking more and more awkward. The shrine seeming to turn into a collage of photos. And then there you see a photo, the man disappear, be replaced by a photo of you. The very first photo of you and Desmond that was taken not a year ago today. A photo of Desmond sitting right next to you in your former home with a Polaroid camera, smiling. You remember that night he came to your door. expressed that he knew what was going on with you. You don't remember the story he told. The details seemed to shift over time as the photos continued. At the heart, the wall, that very first photo sprouts into further photos. Photos of when he taught you what feeding was. When he taught you that you needed vitae. When he introduced you to your first blood run. After you first met Mitch. Again, for saving his life and turned him into a resource for your blood running for the circulatory system. Each time a photo. Sometimes he would take some candidly of you. Sometimes he would take photos of you together with a cell phone. Sometimes with Polaroid camera. Each time he seems to be placing you in a moment on a wall that he wants to remember. You see, the very first time he gave you the substance that you took tonight. A blood alchemical solution made from sugar cubes and random chemical concoctions that only thin bloods can procure. And he took a picture as he gave you the jacket of what must be the victim who is lying next to you. The photo from the night after Greyson attacked you. They took in the car with a cell phone. Your cell phone that he took, lying conveniently in front of the photo. On and on, the story gets told, a tapestry of homage, of worship, oneness with you. And then you hear a voice behind you. Now you and I get to be together. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment all year. You see, you and I are brothers. He made me. And he gestures over your head, or over your shoulder at the desiccated corpse. And he made you. But not before. I just wanted to be with him. But he wanted to make thick blood friends. Be part of the full things. He didn't need poor Desmond. He took my formulas and sold them so he could procure more for himself. So that's why he made you. But we took care of him, don't worry. He's not gonna do the same to poor old Desmond again. Or to you. Because now we get to be together. As you feel over your form bound strictly by chains. His hands on the sides of your shoulders. Yeah. Oh yeah. I gave you his jacket because it reminded me of him. But then you had to go and make thick blood friends yourself. You're going to leave old Desmond behind.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, shush.
No, there was no. I was not gonna leave you. Just because I'm making friends doesn't mean I'm gonna leave you. I'm still not gonna leave you.
You see Desmond come around to face you up front, keeping a decent distance away just in case you go kicking out of your chair or something. Oh, don't worry. See, we get to try again. And I realized the problem this time. It's because poor old Desmond doesn't make it in this world. So I gotta be just like you. You see? I could do it. I finally learned how. And you see his form shift in front of your face. A trick that you had only seen performed once in front of you by Smokes alone. As he changes his shape to look just like you. You see? I already... Don't worry. Now. I'll take care of your family for him. I already took some of them over. I gave him the juice.
Who'd you... What? Who?
Doobie and the rest of the folk.
You did...
Oh, yeah. We're going to
I-
start an operation. Yes.
I would like to try and break the chain. I will take the rouse check to increase my physicalness and try and break the chain.
Okay.
Try and break out of my bonds.
All right, make a rouse check, please. You have slaked one hunger. I will note from the.
Awesome.
Did the drugs affect him or anything like that? Like
affect his physical disposition.
Yeah.
He will receive a +1 die for the remainder of the scene to any sort of mental awareness test or anything like that. As will Lillith when she. We're just working at simultaneous timing right here.
Okay, I succeeded in my rouse check.
Okay, you succeeded in your rouse check. You do can make an attempt to break free of the chains.
All right, what would you like? What would I need to roll?
Before the roll, though, you do feel a burning sensation erupt from inside of you as you take 1 aggravated damage. So please go ahead and give me your strength plus you're just trying to break it like a feat of strength type thing.
Well, I'm trying to either break the chain or break my wrists out or you know, break the binding.
Okay,
in some way.
You can do it by like if you do like go and give me a strength athletics test to see if you can contort your limb enough to break something to try to loosen chain a bit and get yourself out.
Okay. I got 4 successes, not a messy critical.
4 successes. Okay, so you go to try to wiggle out. You hear a creak of the metal beginning to give. It doesn't completely give, however. As Desmond sees you struggling, right? He's like, "Oh no! This is going to be special. This is going to be special."
You hurt my youngins. Ain't nothing special between you and me except you seeing the sun.
Oh, don't worry. I gave them the juice. They're not feeling a thing. Hold on.
It's not them feeling a thing that you need to worry about.
I don't think you're in the position here. We're going to go immediately. We're going to skip right over to Lillith and Hannibal, who are acting simultaneously. You arrive several moments behind to the warehouse that you were at the last evening. Lillith, you feel yourself come to. The effects will give you again +1 to any mental or mental tests where you're using a mental attribute or aspects or dominator, things like that nature. So what do you guys do as you drive up?
Hannibal is unsure if Lillith is capable of really like moving, fighting, whatever. So he will leave a phone in the car and say, "Keep watch," and then immediately just grab his weapons and be dashing inside.
Lillith is going to pull out a gun from her purse or from her side or something like that and just cock it.
Okay.
I'm ready,
So she can actually move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you basically you set the phone out. She starts moving around, and then you guys are like getting up. You're sluggish, but not any more sluggish to you're not going to receive any sort of penalty or anything like that. As you come out of them for it, it's just like character gets up a little groggy, and after a second, it seems to fade pretty quickly, leaving you more acute and introspective in your mind. You're able to think about things a little bit more deeper, and observe things closer. As you go running in with your guns, are you guys just booking it, both of you guys booking it in, or are you guys going to say anything before you do or come up with any sort of... Okay.
I'm following Hannibal's lead.
You're running into yes.
When I was here the night before, because it's the same warehouse, did I notice where the power feeds into the warehouse at?
Yeah, it's on the side of the building.
I'm going to head there first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to basically cut out the power if I can.
Sure. You go up to the side of the building. You have no difficulty moving quietly on the outside? It does not use no lights or anything like that. It's very easy to remain hidden because there's lots of junk and things that are left over, stuff and debris in this vacant warehouse that's been left to its own devices. You find the power. Right as about you find the power, you actually receive a text over your phone as you are getting ready to shut off the power. It is from the number, no number, because I don't think you received his number. Say, hey, this is Little, the guy you held up last night. Herkermer's here with Desmond.
I'll return text very quickly while I'm doing all this.
Mm-hmm.
For your safety, you should leave.
Yeah. Okay. Warning, the guys are really, like, they beat me up, dude. Or bye.
Hannibal doesn't respond further.
You shut off the power. You hear footsteps. And you see, when you look around the front of the building, which is quite big, mind you, it's a warehouse, so you see the form of the person you intimidated, Little, go running across out. He looks because you could see in the night, he looks beaten up. Looks like he has bruises on his face. Inside you hear metal music, like hard, now that the door is open to the front. And you hear yelling, yeah, dun, 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 dun. What do you and Lillith are on the side of the building. You guys can easily approach in. Do you,
can we assume that the radio is being operated by a battery because we just cut the power, didn't we?
Oh, that's right. You just cut the power. Yeah, there wouldn't be any. You just hear, what the hell?
I mean, there could be batteries in it, so there could still be music going.
Without power these days, nobody can exist. Anyway, yeah. So you hear some music coming from a phone and like one of those little speakers, maybe when you get in there from metal. USB. Everything's USB now, right? So, what do you guys do?
The one thing I will say to Lillith is try not to kill anyone. And then I head inside the building.
You come in, you walk in the building. There, as I said before, there's several, there's lots of boxes and crates and things like that, of things that have been looked to you to be kind of laid out and like they were recently stolen. You see in the center, where you saw the cook pit, the only light in the room is from the sort of cook pit that they have going. You notice a bunch of them, there's also lights flashing off their phones to their face illuminating. You see a group of the individuals, and they're all like screaming and yelling, like kind of angrily. It looks like they haven't even really noticed the lights have gone out. They look to be moshing, which is very odd to see in the middle of the dark. They're like, doing very violent, they're kind of punching each other and pushing each other, and there's some like sort of metal to this metal music going over speakers. What do you? And then so the building's layout. There's a large, wide open area where their cook pit is off to the right hand side. There is a central building with interior that looks to be made out of like like a brick instead of like the normal warehouse shelving and like metal sheeting or anything like that. Maybe some sort of concrete with a door that heads into basically an interior portion of the building in front of you. Other than that, there's like, you know, a car parked and like pallets and crates, leftover abandoned pallets with stuff that has been stolen, like boxes and such. Yes.
If we could quickly move past them without them noticing to whatever interior space exists, offices, etc., we'll do that. Well, at least Hannibal will.
Sure.
You can. If he doesn't have to engage and waste time, he won't engage and waste time.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a stealth roll. Are you doing the same thing, Lilith? Okay, both of you guys give me stealth rolls.
Stealth and what?
I'm gonna give you a bonus.
No, stealth and wits.
Are you kind of plotting your way around the room, or are you just trying to be sneaky quiet? Or are you just trying to not make any sound?
Trying to not make any sound.
Okay, so dexterity in that case.
Dexterity, okay. Are they mortal? Can I tell?
Yes, your passive ability does grant you the ability to notice that they are indeed mortal.
They are indeed mortal, okay.
Yeah. Also, I do have Shadow Cloak active. It doesn't require a rouse check or anything. So
you're going to receive also additional +1 die for circumstance.
Okay.
And the difficulty is not that difficult. It's dark. There's light. There is some light forms, and so it's going to be 3 successes. So it's an average difficulty. Okay, so you got 3. Okay. Your stream can't hear me. So you get up to the interior. And you see there's a door, metal door, and you go to open it. There's a hallway, abandoned, right? And you see basically 3 interior sort of doors along the right side of the hallway as you're looking in. That runs the length of the warehouse. This, basically we'll call it the south side of the warehouse. You guys approach from the north, right? So it runs, left to right along the south side of the interior. You see 3 doors, no lights. There seems to be light coming up from underneath the crack of the far door on the left hand side. So, hallway, you guys come in here, right? Hallway, and then you got a door down here with the lights coming on from underneath it. It looks to be like candlelight or firelight.
Okay, we'll approach the door, and I'll look at Lilith, and I'll basically give a sort of countdown, like 5, 4, and then I'll turn as soon as I get to 1, 0. I will turn and with potence kick the door.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a strength athletics check.
Okay.
But you're adding your potence dots.
Yes, I do have that power. I have prowess now.
Go ahead and give me Herkermer at the same time. You have an opportunity to do a second check to see if you can break your chains. You because you need to rouse the blood in order, because it's only for 1 test that rousing the blood works. You will not have that bonus die unless you wish to rouse again, of course.
I would like to rouse again.
Okay, go ahead and rouse again, please.
I did have to do a rouse check for prowess. I succeeded, so I do not gain hunger.
Okay.
I succeeded as well. I did not go up in hunger.
You do take 1 more aggravated damage as you sort of feel burning welling up inside of you.
5 successes. Oh, nope, sorry, that's not a crit. That's just 5 successes. I thought I saw it too.
Herkermer, your thoughts drift back very briefly to the encounter that you had with Greyson. You've smelt that smell before, that sulfuric sort of smell emanating from out your mouth and nose as you think you feel burning. Any more intense, and it may invoke the beast.
I got 0 successes.
You get 0 successes. Do you wish to use willpower? You can take willpower damage.
I'd only reroll 1 die, so.
Oh. Hannibal, how many successes did you get? 5? Okay. So you give the door a mighty kick. The door doesn't completely give, but it starts to bend with significance. It does seem to be apparently blocked by some sort of heavy beam, which, like, with another swift kick, would see it come free, you're pretty sure, if you score enough success, obviously. As you do that in the room, Herkermer, the kick, you see the door kick, almost vaulting the door completely off its hinge, like out of its hinges, but for some reason maintaining itself, its integrity to the frame. It looks like it's about ready to buckle. Yes, Hannibal.
Does this count as me delivering damage to the door, in a sense? Like, is it as though I'm dealing damage to it, or is this just a threshold I have to surpass?
This is a threshold of difficulty. It's not necessarily doing damage.
Okay.
Although I am accounting for that you did dent the door significantly. That's the reason why I'm saying, like, it's not like as though the door held its ground completely.
Yeah. I was just asking for clarification because I know that the second level of Potence Prowess adds, I get to add my Potence dots to the damage that I deal, right? So I wasn't sure if it was like, it was as though I was dealing damage to it. So I figured I'd just clarify.
I had you add the Potence dots in, for that reason. I was like, okay, you can do physical damage to things. So it's like, rather than go through
that's what Prowess allows me to do, is add my Potence to my feats of strength. That's what the level 2 Potence does. Yeah.
So, you notice Desmond, obviously taken back, not expecting the door to come open like that. You're yelling at him. He looks over at the thing. He's like, "Oh no!" And he goes and reaches inside of his jacket and pulls out a substance and drinks it. Okay. And he drinks the substance, and you notice him flash out of appearance. Give me another test, Hannibal.
I just did it I presume you were coming back to me, and I got, once again, 5 successes.
Okay, so the door comes cleanly. Herkermer, did you wish to do another test?
Not necessarily to break the binds, because I'm thinking that's going to be kind of futile. It's chain. Would it be possible? How exactly am I bound to the chair?
Basically, your chains were wrapped around your torso and around your arms, right? And when you went to go try to wiggle free, you were basically trying to bend the arms. It's one of those like steel office chairs, those very old steel office chairs they used to like give, you used to see in places like in the 80s.
Right.
They're not, so you can attempt to try to either continue to try to apply pressure, or I could say with the success is the last thing. I could give you if you want to try to like slip out, maybe you may attempt to do that.
I was thinking, if I can't, can I walk at all? Could I stand?
You could try to lean forward on your feet and kind of hop, like, so you can walk with your feet, like, but it's kind of awkward, obviously.
Well, that's perfectly fine. I would like to do that and kind of hop over to where I saw Desmond, and then do a quick spin so I can try and like knock him down or hit him with the chair.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
So what kind of roll would you like?
Well, it is the effects of obfuscate. Right. So obfuscate, even though you might have the intentions of trying to hit something, or somebody with obfuscate, your mind will naturally guide your actions to avoid the person in question.
All right, fair enough. Then I will definitely out loud be like, Desmond's invisible. Watch yourselves.
All right. I need to make one roll real quick before we continue, because I'm going to give you your. I know you got it. Let me.
I'll rouse for this
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't require a rouse action. So I'll rouse for this to add +1 die.
Sure.
And I do gain a hunger.
Okay. You do gain a hunger?
Yes, I do. So I'm up to hunger 3 now.
So the door comes flying off. You hear Herkermer. You see him as the candlelight washes over his form, and he's sitting there spinning in a chair in the middle of the room. Go ahead and give me your active. I'm actually going to have you do your roll yourself this time, because it, I mean, if you see nothing, then obviously you failed, right? There's no point. So go ahead and give me your thing with your rouse dice included.
I'm going to spend a willpower
Mm-hmm.
to reroll some of these dice.
Okay.
Are you using Auspex?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, dang. Hopefully that's enough. 4 successes.
4 successes. Unfortunately, you do not see. I rolled really good. You do not see a form or anything. You are blocking the door. And with invisible, you don't know precisely how obfuscate functions, because you don't have it. So, but you do have Auspex. So I'll go ahead and grab me a roll real quick. Just like intelligence, if you have a cult or any sort of knowledge base, or even intelligence resolve, to see if you can remember something in a moment.
And you want Hannibal to do this? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 successes?
Okay, so you know that, like, as long as you're standing in the door frame, right? Like, you standing where you are and not making any conscious effort to move one way or another, that more or less you'll probably be blocked. Right? Until he would have to either interact with you, but as soon as you would move or anything, right? So you freeze immediately, right? Because as soon as you would make any sort of conscious movement, your mind would immediately start trying to make you move in a way that would allow, could allow him to pass by you. Lillith, you are behind him. Hannibal, do you say anything to this effect? To, indicate to Lillith what's going on.
Yeah, I'll say I'm gonna block the door. And he'll
Okay.
just be standing there.
Okay. So you guys are standing there at a kind of an awkward thing. Lillith, are you doing anything? Or Herkermer, are you doing anything?
I can't really do anything.
Are you standing in the hallway? You definitely
Yeah.
can see into the room. You have your gun, so you could potentially fire into the room if you want. I mean, there's
I would like to continue to struggle against the chains.
Okay. I could say, like, because you guys are kind of in a stalemate situation, after enough time you can free yourself, like, because you were trying to do it in the moment. Now a couple moments starts to crawl by, and you're able to move and bend the chair more easily now that you have a little bit more time to try to actively get out of the chains.
All right.
So once that happens,
I was going to say, looking around the room, yeah, is there a fire extinguisher?
you know what? Yeah, sure.
All right. Lillith, hit this room up.
Okay.
With the fire extinguisher, maybe smoke him out.
What? Will that work?
Hannibal just nods his head no.
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 I don't know what I'm doing. Just trying to get out of this fucking chair.
See what you did? Hey. I'll pop claws and I'll show Herkermer my claws over Hannibal's shoulder.
Give me a rouse check.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Herkermer will kind of hop over to the doorway so that Lillith can reach around Hannibal.
Okay. So you are standing there, kind of. You managed to free Herkermer with your claws. You still have your claws out, yes?
Yeah.
The you notice that the music from the other room has gone off, and there's the screens of moshing and things like that have stopped.
I'll go check the mortals. You guys deal with Desmond. How about that?
Don't hurt him.
Okay. I'll try not to. No promises.
If they're my youngins, don't hurt them.
If they attack me, they're getting hurt.
They're under. Desmond gave him the juice, as he says. So
If
they're
they
so-
attack you, Lilith, defend yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
You get a text message, Herkermer. Actually, no, the phone on the sill in front of the photo. Which, by the way, Hannibal, you could see like the entire. There's like an entire mural of photographs that are encompassing this room. It looks pretty creeptastic. You notice also the desiccated corpse and everything else. You see the phone vibrate.
Herkermer will go over to the phone and answer it.
It's text. It says, "Let me out, or the youngins will get hurt."
I'm just going to say it out loud. If I let you out, there's no promise that you're not going to hurt him anyway. Evidently, Desmond is texting me, as he says to Hannibal.
Yes.
How long until I'm able to make another Auspex test, or can I just not do it for the entire rest of the scene?
No, I'm gonna have you do one here when the situation dramatically changes. Well, in this case, he called, so you can search again. Go ahead and give me another search test. Sure. And then the only other time that the next time I'll have you do it is if like the situation dramatically changes again. In this case, he was using a phone, so maybe it's the random knowledge of how cell phones work, or maybe it's just you're trying to pay attention to buttons pressing on the phone or something, or looking for the telltale glow of a phone against the wall.
I'm gonna spend another willpower.
Do it.
Oof.
Not rolling great tonight. 4 successes.
Okay. I rolled insane. I just let you know. This is not
You rolled again and you rolled insane?
Oh, I gotta roll again. Yeah, sorry, roll again.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
yeah. No, I should roll again. No, because obfuscate it's obfuscate's up, but if there's another test, he has to resist it.
Yeah, the way the V5 works is it's a constantly contested thing.
Is it really? That's
Yes.
dumb.
Well, obfuscate's extremely powerful, as you're seeing right now. Ooh. Okay. I need to check a rule. We should note this. This is the first time we've had to look up Osfixer's Obfuscate. That's like a thing. This won't be the last time either. Sure. Okay. I'm gonna say, because I don't want to do any more book flipping, we scored the exact same amount of successes. So I'm gonna say, because you're the PC, regardless of what it says in the book for the time being, that the push goes to you. So you do end up seeing the telltale glow of light off of a wall from a cell phone's LED screen, which then slowly brings Desmond's form in the corner, right, sitting on his cell phone, to your view. He doesn't know.
Hannibal.
He's not aware, mind you. His obfuscate's still not broken, so Hannibal or Herkermer still. Right, you only are piercing his obfuscate. I just want to make that very clear to you.
Yeah. How far away from me is he?
No more than probably like 6 feet, 7 feet. It's not a very big room.
Okay. Is Herkermer looking towards me currently, or is he looking away?
I would imagine Herkermer. Well, I don't know. Where are you? What are you looking at, Herkermer?
Currently, Herkermer would be looking between the phone and Hannibal.
Okay.
Hannibal will, without gesturing with his head or anything, he will look at Herkermer as though he's trying to get his attention with his eyes, and then he will look quickly, dart his eyes to the corner.
Herkermer will give a look over that direction. Do I see anything?
As you do not have obfuscate or auspex, you cannot pierce his obfuscate without him doing it. Like a look will send you to the general direction, but he would actually have to particularly like point to the exact.
Oh, okay.
Position.
So me pointing it out in that way, it just isn't enough. Okay.
Yeah, it's so subtle. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Hannibal then will move out of the doorway very quickly and then basically go to grapple Desmond.
Sure. Okay. So you gesture, you look over, Herkermer's looking over, you then dart forward. Go ahead and give me a strength plus brawl check.
Could I use dexterity because I'm trying to be finesse?
Sure. If you wanted to try, you just
if not, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, let me all right, 30.
And I get to add my potence to this, or does it have to be strength in order to add potence?
I believe it would have to be strength. Because you're trying to use finesse, not overpower him.
I get to add it to my unarmed damage value, as well as feats of strength. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'll use strength then instead of dex.
Yeah.
Finally a good roll. Oh, that's not 2 crits. Never mind. 5 successes.
Okay, so you managed to overpower him.
If I beat him out, then my damage is increased by 2 because I have potence prowess.
Yeah.
So,
Are you attempting to do damage or just restrain him?
If I have to choose one or the other, restrain him. If both happen, then restraining him is the important bit, but I don't mind causing him some pain because of all of this.
Okay. So you end up restraining him, which is going to mean if he attempts to do anything, it's going to add successes because you increased it by 2, so it's going to mean a difficulty. What's your base strength plus potence?
My base strength plus potence would be 4.
4. Okay, so that would be... Okay, so he's going to have to make, let's say, 4 successes, because it's like... Oh, no, it'd probably be 6. 6 total successes in order to break free and perform an action that isn't directly against you in response.
Sure.
All right. Herkermer, what do you decide to do? He reaches forward and grabs him. He does like trapping type thing, knocks the phone out of his hands. You now definitely see Desmond as his obfuscate has been rendered inert.
All right. Can I find a piece of, like a breakable piece of wood anywhere or something that's usable as a stake?
That I will say no.
All right. Well, I will get I will go and collect the chains that I just got out of, and I will commence to binding him up with them.
Okay. Go ahead and give me, again, it's going to be strength plus... You can use brawl. Yeah, let's use brawl or athletics if you want.
All right. Well, I would prefer to use brawl. 4 successes.
Okay.
I rolled really good.
I took his pull and subtracted 2 because he's still resisting against things. So, you 4 successes, you said?
4 successes.
Okay.
Yep.
Then you managed to bind him up. What are you doing, Lillith? You're walking down the hall. You hear some scuffling begin as you approach the end of the hallway.
I'm gonna stay hidden and make sure that they don't come down the hallway.
Okay, you notice they were standing out. They're all looking at their phones, and you hear it's like as you approached the door, here's like, oh, fucking Herkermer just texted me. I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. I don't know. I'm waiting for him to text back. Well, dude, he's in the other room. Yeah, but he was laid out. You saw him. He's fucking stoned. I'm gonna go fucking kick his ass. And you see slightly larger dude. Start moving towards the door. The rest of them are still kind of looking at their phones though.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Can I go out ahead of him towards the room before they notice me?
Yeah, you're in the hallway still.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to where Hannibal and Herkermer are.
Okay. You come in right as you see they're scuffling. And they have you notice that another individual has appeared, a very baby-faced, dirty individual that I described earlier, and he's wrapped in chains, and you notice that Hannibal has him in sort of the elbow lock sort of situation. Yeah.
As soon as it seems like Herkermer has this under control with the wrapping the guy up in chains, etc., then I will release him and check in with Lillith. Basically.
Sure.
Check down the hallway, stuff like that.
I'm gonna be running in, and I'll go like this to Hannibal, and I'll run over to Herkermer and whisper in his ear, you need to text your friends and tell them that you're okay. There's one coming right now, and I'll look over at Hannibal and whisper to him so that the other dude hopefully won't hear me. There's one coming down the hallway right now.
You would think to grab his phone.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
So I grab his. Not only do I grab his phone, I make sure to put my hand over Desmond's mouth and keep his mouth shut so he can't scream.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yes, Hannibal.
Hannibal is going to extinguish the light in the room if it's like a flip switch, or is it candles?
It's candles.
Oh, so he can't extinguish all those in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
He will simply step into the hallway, shutting the door behind himself.
Okay.
And then basically sort of try to blend into the shadow along the dark side of the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you text. What are you saying in your text?
I'm saying, hey, don't worry about me. Just getting up. I'm fine.
Okay. You notice a string of texts, by the way. The details of which you start reading through. He's been in communication for quite some time. At least to Doobie. But you notice that when he's like, hey, shut the music off. I need you. And then he's like, oh. Then you respond. Hey, I'm okay.
Right.
Doobie says, you hear a voice yelling from the outer room. Hey, dude, don't bother him. He's okay, man. And then you hear, right as the person was about ready to enter the hallway, what? Oh, motherfucker. And then turns and walks away from the door. Leaving you, at least for the brief moment of time, you hear the music start up again. Hey, why are there lights on in here? I don't fucking know, this goddamn cheap place. And Desmond's like,
Herkermer will take some cloth and bind around his mouth so that I don't have to sit there holding him all night.
I'll point over to Desmond. Who's that?
This is Desmond. This is the son of a bitch that was teaching me how to do thin blood alchemy. And apparently taking care.
He's not going to teach you that anymore, is he?
No. I feel that I've learned all I need to learn from Desmond.
So what are you going to do with him?
I don't know. He threatened the youngins.
Why do you call them the youngins? There's like
Because they're younger.
There's a group of grown men in there. It's kind of weird.
I call them youngins because they act young.
Okay.
Desmond's gone very quiet. He's just looking at you. He doesn't seem to be necessarily afraid.
I'm gonna kneel down and I'm gonna inspect Desmond. Like kind of closer than you're supposed to be, but I'm gonna inspect him. I'm gonna look at his face, kind of commit his face to memory, and then I'm gonna lower his mouth thingy. Are you gonna scream?
Not for you, Starfly.
Oh, good. So why'd you do this? What is this? What did you do?
Wouldn't you like to know? Poor thing's wanting to take a bite out of my juice. Oh, I've been watching you work your way into Herkermer. It's okay, though. I had plans. Oh, yeah, we got the books on, man. It's number time.
You attacked Emily, didn't you?
Oh, you see, that was just collateral damage. I didn't mean to. Can't help it.
I have a question. Is his fangs out?
You notice that he, like, you do not notice any fangs.
Okay.
Say that.
I'm gonna cover his mouth again with the cloth thing, and I'm gonna get up.
Does there seem to be anything that's heavy but pick upable in the room?
Oh yeah, you can pick up the chair. There's a table. There's some cinder blocks with his what you actually notice to be his cookbook on top of it, and like a little board, and it's kind of set up with some candles around it, like it's like sort of like has his own special place.
Right. I'm gonna go grab one of the cinder blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look over to Lillith. Do you have any other questions for this thing?
Are you totally gonna hit him?
I was gonna.
Go ahead.
Herkermer or Hannibal, sorry.
Once I hear the impact of him hitting Desmond once with that cinder block, Hannibal will step back inside.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
Okay.
And Herkermer will commence to just beating his face in with the cinder block.
So you're going to execute him.
I have the full intent to do so.
Okay.
If I am stopped beforehand, I am stopped.
Okay. So you go to hit him once. Now, your actual effect of killing him is going to probably be interrupted here. But before that interruption happens, I'm going to give you a stain. Just for the simple fact that your intent with this isn't necessarily driven at any sort of instinct or self-defense. It definitely violates chronicle tenet of attempting murder. Now you have a conviction, I'm assuming.
I do. Which is finish the job.
Finish the job.
I am protecting the youngins.
That is appropriate. So you do manage to alleviate, at least for now, incurring his stains. Hannibal comes in through the door as you raise the block again. There's a dull thud as the cinder block had hit Desmond across the skull, caving it in. Not completely, mind you, because Kindred are made of sterner stuff.
I'm going to grab the hand that Herkermer, like the cinder block itself, basically.
Sure.
And then try to prevent him from following up to continue to try and execute Desmond.
Hannibal has potence, so him pulling the brick out, or the cinder block out, that's fine. And when it comes out, Herkermer shoots a look to Hannibal that is it's a combination of feral rage plus sadness and concern at the same time, very much like a protective parent kind of way.
You notice that Herkermer, with the combination of his hunger bringing his beast a little bit more to the fore, and the situation being as dire as it is exuding much more of a vampiric look, at least for a brief moment. You're seeing the fact that Herkermer is indeed a kindred, instead of looking like he normally does, which is just like a normal person.
We don't know if we have the right of destruction on our patch. That was never made clear to us. This is a kindred. We shouldn't just execute it.
What should we do with him?
We should speak to the Red Queen before we make a final decision. For now, we should definitely put him into torpor.
How do we do that?
Beat him up a little more.
I'm down. Can I do it?
No.
Don't kill him.
Well, I wasn't going to kill him. I was just going to punch him a couple times for Emily.
I think Herkermer should perhaps step back. I don't know if your anger is going to allow you to put him into torpor rather than killing him.
Herkermer will kind of look Desmond dead in the eyes and give out this kind of like, just, ah!
He looks, for the first moment, like actually like taken back at your scream. And do you just immediately follow it up with a strike?
No, I stand up and I take off the jacket that I was wearing that he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
I rip the patch off the chest of it.
Sure.
And I drop it in front of him.
Oh, snap. Ryan's taken off the jacket.
During that, Hannibal will motion over to Lillith to basically put the guy into torpor, presumably with a fell swoop.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So it is break time, so I think it's a pretty convenient place to leave it for right now. We will come back in a moment.
Before we get going too far, can we resolve my stain from last game?
Oh, we did have a stain from last game. Yeah, go ahead and give me a... We forgot. So you're going to roll 2 dice because we had decided you took 1 stain after the assault on the private investigator. Herkermer's guilt had written him that maybe he had gone too far and harmed somebody who had just was more or less innocently stepping into a situation. So... yeah, go ahead and roll 2 dice, and all you got to get is a success on one of those dice.
I did not get a success on either of the dice.
Okay, so you had dropped down 1 humanity.
All right.
And
the stain is gone?
the stain is gone.
Okay.
This is just gonna hurt. You're in for a night, man. All right. Okay, so we are back to the scene. You had earlier in the evening, Herkermer met with Mitch, who was asking about why and what Herkermer was doing in his apartment and whether or not he had taken something. And Herkermer told him that he had taken a photo. He confessed. At which point, Mitch was like, gave him a container of a blood shipment, which Herkermer took and said, no more. Cannot deliver any to you for the least time being until I get Emily back. Herkermer then went to the coterie haven and met with Lillith, who had recently come from her own haven, discovering that her haven existed either on or in the periphery. It was exact. I don't think Deacon was being clear. I was intentionally trying to make him not clear. That Lilith's haven might be in danger of being on Krieg's patch or near it. He had also told her that to expect a visit from a messenger from Sylvia Mercer, Deacon's sire. Once they had met, still awaiting Hannibal, they had opened the blood bags and drank, finding the well was poisoned, and they had succumbed to a paralysis and euphoria. Luckily, though, Hannibal was arriving on the scene just as Herkermer was being dragged off by the abductor, who later turned out to be Desmond. Hannibal gathered Lillith and followed in pursuit to a warehouse that Hannibal had visited the previous night and found the group that Herkermer refers to as the Young'uns, a former residents of Water Street, had gathered, apparently, presumably at Desmond's will, as Desmond revealed the fact that he had known not only Herkermer himself since the beginning, but was also a blood relative, to so to speak, of his, that he was the childer of Herkermer's sire, who Desmond presumably killed, or admitted to killing and destroying after he felt that his affections were spurned. And that Desmond had used, under guise, not telling him the truth, had attached himself to Herkermer, and a vicious obsession had set in that he had cataloged on a wall, a shrine to his relationship to Herkermer's sire and Herkermer himself. Hannibal and Lillith arrived on the scene, cutting the power and telling the individual known as Little that he should leave. They stealthily crept in and caught them in the scene, where they had a standoff for a couple moments, dealing with the powers of obfuscate, until Hannibal was able to pierce Desmond's obfuscate. They detained him and decided to put him into torpor, where where they would leave him, presumably until they talked to the Red Queen, as at Hannibal's suggestion. So we're standing in the room, Desmond's torpored corpse lying at your feet. And I think we'll leave it, or we'll bring in on Herkermer reeling back. Was the one who beat him into torpor, or Hannibal was?
Yeah, I think it was Lilith that did the work.
Oh, Lilith did the work. Okay. So Lilith steps back, and Herkermer's looking over the destruction, the torpored body of Desmond, and around the twisted, psychotic obsession, the kindred that he had been his friend for over a year, the one who taught him. The anguish in the atmosphere is palpable. Herkermer, what are you doing?
Currently, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Just trying to make it all make sense in my mind. And also trying to think of what I'm going to say to the youngins when I see them again. Because evidently Desmond had his hooks in him. So
you're just kind of lost in thought? Sitting there looking around?
At this point, yeah. Just kind of staring at the carnage and contemplating what just happened.
Hannibal? What are you doing?
Based on what Hannibal has seen here so far, he'll look to Herkermer and ask, "Are you the one that told the young men to come here?"
Well, not here. They're supposed to be at Water Street. They're supposed to be looking after people there, like I raised them to be.
They have been interacting with you for a short time, in which you brought them here and fed them blood of some type.
I didn't feed them anything.
Who did then?
It would have been him, because he showed me he can make himself look like other people. He made himself look like me.
That would make sense then. So Desmond was posing as you, is what you're saying?
I'm assuming so.
Knowing that Malone can do similar things, I would not think it to be too big of a stretch then.
Yeah, because that's what it looked like too when he shifted, when he changed.
Yeah. With that in mind, you realize that the young men in the other room, they believe that you brought them here. They believe that you're the one that's been feeding them whatever it was that Desmond was feeding them. And if you go in there and tell them to leave, how do you think they're going to respond? Obviously, they were willing to do whatever it is they've been doing. They were willing to steal.
They were always willing to steal.
They were willing to hurt their own. They apparently beat up one by the name of Little.
Beat up Lil?
Yeah.
What are you doing during this, Lilith?
I'm just watching them quietly. I have no dog in this fight.
If Desmond can make himself unseen, is there a chance that he's the one that did the thing at the hospital?
I'm willing to say it is.
He just said he did when I asked him. I asked him if he attacked Emily, and he said yes.
So he was the one at the hospital then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you want to kill him because you think he's done you wrong. Because you think he's corrupted these young men in some way. But they were willing to say yes to him.
They were willing to... They were willing to say yes to me.
Even though you had been telling them the opposite. Why would they be so willing to quickly shift? If they were not doing it all along. Or willing to.
Well, as far as the stealing go, I always told them just take what you need.
Do all of those things, and you didn't see them. But in the other room, there's tons of things far beyond what they needed. Stolen electronics and piles of things. Also, I noticed you had a cooler when Desmond took you. How was he able to catch you by surprise like that? Did something happen?
We drank blood from the cooler.
That my friend Mitch gave me. Just looked like a normal shipment.
But didn't... So how did Desmond know that you were going to drink it? How did Desmond know that it was going to have its effects on you? And then immediately grab you?
Desmond must have given it to Mitch.
Desmond probably gave it to Mitch.
To give to you.
Yeah.
And normally, isn't it Mitch who gives you guys blood?
Yeah, but yes. And Mitch is the one who gave it to me. The only way I could see that is if Desmond gave or tampered with the blood bags.
I think now's an appropriate time for me to ask you, Herkermer, with your bonus dice, because remember you are still under the effects of the sanguine substance you consumed earlier, to give me a wits plus awareness test as you are looking around the room trying to figure out what the replay chains of events and that sort of stuff to see if you notice.
If I roll 2 10s with hunger dice, is that a messy critical?
It's a messy critical.
Then I got 4 successes and a messy critical.
Okay, so you first success aspect of it. You look around the room to catalog everything of importance that you might find important. Desmond's cookbook, the blood alchemy solutions. Don't want to leave home without that. And you notice over in the corner, there is Desmond's or Mitch's phone, or you see Mitch's name tag badge, and then right next to it is a phone. When you go up to the phone, or if you were to go up to when you go up to the phone and investigate, because you naturally probably want to look at it, you'll see that it was Mitch that texted you. But before you can discover anything else about it, you'll crush it in ink.
It was Mitch.
What was Mitch?
All of it.
This seems like more than Mitch.
Mitch and Desmond together.
Are you saying Mitch knew about all this?
He had to. He texted me on this, and he holds up the remains of the phone. Sorry, I got a little carried away.
Wait a minute. What if Desmond pretended to be Mitch? And you didn't really talk to Mitch. Desmond was the one. So what happened to Mitch?
He should be at work. Because he texted me right before this saying that he needed to meet up now so that he could give me that cooler and tell me that he's leaving or that he's not working with me anymore.
What if that wasn't Mitch?
What if it wasn't Mitch? Ah!
I take it that it's much louder than that. Correct.
Much.
I would hope. So.
Just
as
don't
you
want to blow out stuff.
As you scream, your scream does penetrate the walls, but after poking your head out and listening, it doesn't seem like the people in the main room, because it is a little bit of a distance, and there is metal music once more. Have not seemed to have heard, by the way. So
we should probably leave and grab what we need to grab before they start coming in here and searching for stuff.
All right.
Hannibal will pick up Desmond then.
I'm gonna grab the pictures off the wall, because this is really creepy.
And I'm going to grab the book.
What about the desiccated corpse?
Are we taking that with us too?
I'll grab that one.
Okay. And there is a a exit on the outside the other side of the room that you're in. So basically, if you come out into the hallway and just over the kitty corner at the end of the hallway, there is like an emergency door that you guys could use to exit. Otherwise, you guys could try stealthing back through.
No,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
take the
take the-
emergency door.
Yeah, we'll take the other exit.
Okay. So before we leave, you, Herkermer, do you take even one glance into the main room?
Yeah, I'll take a quick glance.
You look over, just very quickly, maybe through a window. You know, you look through the window, and see all of the things they have taken. Boxes of DVDs, DVD players, cell phones, purses that have been snatched. And you remember that thing when you were around them. Memory primordial to you. Something has always been with you that you never really took more than what you needed. That desire often be the end of individuals. The greed often hurt. And that memory slowly, not completely, starts to fade. As your presence within thinking about these individuals that you have grown to know no longer reminds you, as they have drifted beyond that idea that is remained anchored in humanity. Your touchstone has been damaged. While I calculate the damage, you guys leave. Once you are outside, the last detail is that the car you notice standing out front is actually Mitch's car. Any check or cursory investigation would show it's empty, other than, you know, what's normally in a car, like glove box stuff and things like that. Nothing in the trunk, in other words. And you guys gather your stuff, put it back in, I'm assuming, Lillith's car, or are you guys going to take both cars? Because the keys are still in it.
No,
Well,
we
Hannibal
didn't bring
brought
Lillith's
Lillith.
car.
Yeah, Hannibal brought Lillith in his car. So we'll put the desiccated corpse in the trunk of Hannibal's car, and then we'll put Desmond in the back seat. And I'll toss the keys to Herkermer to have him drive.
Where do you guys go?
We need to see the Red Queen.
Somebody better call her.
I'm on it.
Thank
I'll
you.
text her. I'll text
What do you say in your text?
OMW, smiley face.
Mention we have a few questions. Don't get specific, though. It is on phone.
I know, that's why I put OMW. That means on my way. In case you didn't know.
Well, I didn't know what you had said in your text. I'm not really
Oh.
reading over your shoulder.
So you're texting, you're on your way to her?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it's just down the street where you normally have met her.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to go back to the damage, because it is not completely destroyed, but it is changed in a radically different way. Your touchstone has been damaged, and giving you the extra one, so you take 2 stains, which we will resolve at the end of the night. What happens? But your touchstone still exists because there is one individual who you've not reconnected to find out where they are or try to keep them on track. So you still have the one touchstone with the conviction attached, but it is a tenuous connection at best right now, since we do not know her fate. So you guys drive down to 6th and Madison, which is a very short distance actually from where you're at currently, still in the same region of town. You guys park until you guys receive a text message. Okay, I'm here.
Okay, I think...
Drive on in.
Yeah, we'll drive on in.
As you drive in, you notice that there's not any guards necessarily out. You do still feel like you're being watched. Lillith, you do notice your bird, by the way, kind of flying around. It seems to perch itself on a building just adjacent to the warehouse. You pull in to the warehouse at 6th and Madison, and you get out. They're standing alone in front of the room, the large room where she has held her audiences. You see Alice, the figure of the Red Queen, standing in her biker jacket with the Suicide Queen patch on the back of it. White hair, middling height, dark skin with piercings, looking very iconoclastic as your clan has held the reputation of. And she's standing there. She doesn't look angry or anything like that. She just is like, you know, just like, what do you want?
We have the reason why Greyson flipped out over here. And we have well, I suppose it's Herkermer's sire right here. And I'll drop the corpse. So this guy apparently killed this guy, and this guy is...
Why don't we let Herkermer tell the story?
Okay.
Yeah, spill it, Diet Coke.
Evidently this, pointing to the desiccated corpse, is the one who made me. I have no idea who they are. And all I have is the word of this very damaged individual.
I don't know this one. And she points to the corpse. The desiccated corpse. I don't know him. But I sure as fuck recognize this piece of shit.
And that's exactly what he is. Put humans in harm's way. He said he was giving him the juice, which I can only assume is some kind of alchemical thing that fucked him up. And he blatantly broke into a hospital using powers and hurt somebody.
Yes, Hannibal?
Hannibal will sort of speak just very quickly. Herkermer may not know the terminology, but what he's trying to imply here is that this individual potentially broke the Masquerade and violated our domain.
Okay. Well, if the motherfucker violates your domain, it's your business. But breaching the Masquerade, usually I have patches clean that sort of thing up for themselves, but yeah. Go ahead.
Well, when she says that, Hannibal sort of holds up his hand like he's trying to, wait to respond, but doesn't want to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't expect you to deal with this issue. Our question for you is we were unsure if we have the right of destruction in a situation like this. And we didn't want to violate your role as arbiter should that rule fall underneath.
You don't want to
your...
violate rule number 3.
Yeah.
I get it. That's fine. Usually, if it's a breach of Masquerade, you can go ahead and wax a motherfucker, and I don't care. But you bringing him here is actually a good thing. You see, I thought you were rolling with these motherfuckers. And she points to Herkermer.
Which motherfuckers?
Fucking, what's your... She's like, kicks his head. Hey, what? Okay, he's some fucking torpor. This
Desmond.
guy. Desmond. Now I remember, it's just flooding back.
I'm sorry.
I had this piece of shit in my fucking shop about 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, he was talking big names and stuff like that. I don't know who this guy is because, you know, I mean, look at him. He's fucking rotten.
Hold on, I got a picture. And I'll pull out a picture and show her.
Yeah, I think I remember him. Yeah, he's with the crew. Yeah, okay. Bunch of thin bloods. Yeah, I don't. I'm mostly taller because you guys are all like under the same shit houses we're all under. So, you know. But these guys had ambitious. They, You remember when you said you were with the system? Yeah, all these motherfuckers. They try edging in. This is the reason why I have to have the Institute tithes. One of the reasons, anyway. Everybody was... These assholes were getting in with people like Krieg and all kinds of nasty folk. They were getting pretty profitable. Getting a lot of power, a lot of influence. So I institute the tithe. Keeps everybody at each other's throats. No one wins. But at least I make sure that Krieg and them especially aren't winning. So, yeah, I recognize him, this piece of shit. I told him to fucking stay off the fucking herd and stop peddling his fucking bullshit everywhere and keep it on the DL. And he fucking walked out on me. His ass has been trucking around in my part of town, but nobody will touch him because he's part of your fucking system. So.
He brought damage to that system.
Let's go Hannibal and then Lillith.
Oh no, I was simply pointing that Lillith had her hand up. That's all. That's all I was doing.
Oh, you're like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I was trying to point at Lillith and be like, wherever she is. You know?
Go ahead, Lillith.
I'll raise my hand, like hold it up to the Red Queen until she acknowledges me.
Yeah.
I found out that my house is in Krieg's territory. Should I don't know what the rules are for renting out my house so I don't live there no more.
No, your sire apparently has some sort of arrangement with him. I don't know any more than that. Krieg keeps his house pretty shut tight these days. If he hasn't fucked with you, then it's probably because of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't thank me.
Well, you gave me information.
Okay, you can thank me.
Thank you.
So yeah, you guys, here's the deal. You go ahead and deal with Desmond however you want. I'm sorry about this dude, but he was poaching on the same fucking lamb. You know, running underground circuits and things like that. Now, I have the circulatory system more or less under control, but they peddle a lot of influence here. They give a lot of more power to people than I would prefer. So you go ahead and deal with Desmond however you want. But if you happen to want to toss him to me, or maybe go deal with this little situation so I don't have to, then I might be in the area of owing you something.
So you're saying if we give up Desmond to you, you'll owe us?
Yeah.
Also, if we go handle whatever this circulatory system thing is, you'll owe us.
I'm not...
Or are you saying they're one and the same?
Well, whatever he's involved with... See, here's the problem. Back in the day, Mason set up feeding, right, for everybody. And she was really into it, right? You know, she thought that we should be able to sustainably harvest vitae from without doing violence to people as much and things like that, right? They set the stuff up, blood banks and, you know, so on and so on. You know, but the problem is since then, individuals like him have gotten their fangs into it. And they've started using it to engineer influence in a way that I don't think is really going to benefit any of us. You find out the rest of these fucks and what they're doing and what they're up to. Because I went and talked to Carlo. You know, the guy who owned Betty, or like ran Betty. Come tell from him, he didn't know anything about being spiked. About Betty being spiked with anything. So that says to me, and believe me, he has no absolutely... I gave him every reason not to lie to me. So I'm thinking that Desmond was running something on the side. Maybe for the people he's working with. Whatever this guy was involved in. Whatever that patch meant. Some sort of thin blood group or something like that. It's hard enough to keep you guys from getting waxed by the other kindred. But, you know, there's all kinds of little groups that operate. Keeping track of you, Diet Coke and the others is pretty hard. You know. You guys don't like to be seen too much. So yeah, if you correct the system, you're not going to get rid of it. But whoever's poisoning those waters, or if they're dealing with somebody that they shouldn't be dealing with, or harvesting more influence than they should be harvesting, yeah, the more you can find out about it and deal with it. Because I can go, but I kept kicking down the door and everybody goes, it's like cockroaches scattering, you know, you ever turn the light on and they just run? It's a byproduct of, you know, my image. That clear? You good? So yeah, I'll owe you for Desmond if you want to hand him over to me.
Can you give us a moment to talk it out?
Sure.
And Hannibal will start stepping away from Allsun.
Herkermer will join him.
Is Lillith just standing there? Or
She'll follow.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, obviously you want to put some hurt on this guy, Herkermer. So, how do you feel about this deal?
I want him dead. But at the end of the day, I think being friends with Alice would be a good idea.
Any thoughts, Lilith?
I think it's better that she takes care of it because, like Herkermer said, we can get a favor out of her.
Okay. And then Hannibal will start walking back, presumably with the rest of the crew.
Yep.
She turns around, walks back into the room, or, out back from the room where she had given you some privacy. And so what's this?
Hannibal will motion to let Herkermer speak. It's sort of his decision, really,
Oh, yeah.
You can have him just so long as just so long as there's much misery to be had.
Oh, I'm good at misery.
Then do with him what you will.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know what I find out.
Please do.
She looks a second, really assessing you with that smile on her face, and then she drops it and he's like, you take it easy, Diet Coke. Just, careful. Hang in there. I noticed.
Will do.
I noticed you around Water Street. I saw a little bit of what you've been doing. You hold on. Otherwise, you're going to become a problem for me. Understand?
I will do my best.
Yeah, good. Because there can only be one fucking monster in this house. But for what it's worth, she looks over at the corpse. I'm sorry. I know how you feel. She grabs. Demeanor abruptly shifts. And she says, "Come on, Shahed." She picks him up. Oh, I'm so happy right now. We're gonna break him. And she just walks off into the... And here, a couple moments later, a motorcycle rev up from a distant tunnel as it drives away. Yes, Hannibal.
Before she drives away, Hannibal's going to look at the rest of the crew, as she's, going off. I'll meet you guys back at the car. And Hannibal will walk off following Alice.
Okay. So she's walking down. She walks back into the room. She's up at the entrance, and where you catch up to her, or are you gonna follow as in spying follow, or are you followed in?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm trying to get her attention. I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm coming up behind her. I'm like,
Hey,
hey, Alice.
Yeah.
I have some questions. I feel like you would be the person to ask about them.
Okay.
Obviously, Charlie has connections to the Camarilla, and I know things are dicey between the two sides, but is there an issue with Camarilla coming into our patch? Is that a thing we need to worry about?
Like invading or like...
No, like visiting.
No, actually...
I don't know how the lines are drawn, so...
Then she looks around. I don't usually like... Here's the deal. I would much rather you don't. If the camera is coming in and they're not doing anything that's of your concern, just leave them alone. You see, the problem is... Can't believe I'm fucking saying this to you. Problem is like, yeah, we have this side of the river, and the camera is not going to go idly just coming fucking around. But if we give him a reason, and we aren't... I'm not so sure everybody would be having my back. You understand? So I think it's in our best interest to kind of maintain a good front. And if they're visiting, I'm not going to say one word or not otherwise. It happens. They come over here, we go over there.
I just wanted to make sure so that there wouldn't be any sort of issue. So
Yeah, just don't start a fucking war on me.
I don't plan to. And I think Charlie is still trying to keep up, a familial bond with his family. So I doubt he's going to want to cause any issue or anything.
Yeah, kind of a shitty straw he got with that one, but I can't blame him. My sire's dead, so... Oh well.
Well, thanks for your time. I presume you're busy. And
You'd be surprised. But yeah.
I just wanted to mention, if the rest of the crew isn't down to hunt down these circulatory system things,
It's not your problem.
I'd still be willing to help.
Sure.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'll toss you what I find. I would start with Carlo. I got them as much that he didn't know anything about Greyson, but he's been connected with the Thin Blood community for quite a while, and there's some things that he's just not going to tell me. You know, won't go and run to tell mom.
Okay.
But he might be willing to speak to you, especially if he thinks he could profit something. Guys, friend's a really weird place, but you can find him. Carlo's World of Kink. Go ahead and ask for the Special Suckers Club.
Okay.
And they'll green light you and let you in.
Well, I'll check into that.
Yeah, it's really weird. You're gonna be ready to be seared. It's like Walmart for fucking kink. It's weird. I mean, the guy's Malkavian, so, you know. Anyway, I gotta go. Because I do have something to do tonight.
Well, enjoy. Hannibal says, and then he nods and turns back.
I'll look over at Herkermer while we're waiting at the car. Or did you leave the car unlocked, or would it be locked?
Herkermer had the keys, so...
Oh, okay.
Up to him.
We can be in the car.
Okay, so we'll be in the car, and I'll kind of look over at Herkermer. I think Mitch is dead.
It's possible.
But how long? What kind of conversation did you guys have?
Tonight?
Yeah.
It was literally, hey, did you break into my place? Did you steal a picture? She broke up with me. Emily broke up with me. And now I gotta go win her back.
So if that was Desmond, how long has he been pretending to be Mitch, if he was?
I don't know. Probably for a long time.
Which means Mitch is dead and gone.
Unless he's like holed up somewhere.
Fair. Do things always get this bloody, or...
With what?
I don't know, humans and vampires and...
You search me. I can only imagine so, as we're on top of the food chain, as it were.
You feeling all right?
No.
I figured.
Desmond ruined the youngins. Ripped their potential right out from them. I'd only been working with them for a little while, but they had made such great strides. They were looking after everybody. They were feeding people. They were clothing people. They only took what they needed. Sure, they had some fun. They took some things that weren't there so that they could have some fun, but they never took more than what they needed. They never took in excess like that. They never filled a warehouse full of stuff. And they didn't fight each other. I have to find Little. Might still be redeemed. Might still have some redemption there.
I will remind you that that 2 members have not been addressed. There's Little, and then there is Susan.
That was the girlfriend that got in a fight the
Mhm.
other time the
Yep.
other night? Okay, yeah.
I didn't think he could do that. I didn't think he would do that.
Hannibal comes back to the car.
I'll hop in the back seat.
So, now that we're all here, I got a visit from Deacon today, and his sire wants to meet with us, and we'll be sending a ghoul to let us know when.
That was what I was talking with the Red Queen about. Well, not Deacon, but how things go with crossing the river. Just because Charlie has family over there, and Deacon, etc. So, from what the Red Queen told me, she doesn't want there to be issues. So, we're welcome to invite them to our territory, etc. So,
She doesn't come to us; we come to her, apparently.
no. Well, either way, Charlie has the whatever her name was. I can't remember right now, but yeah, brood mate of a sire or something like that, or coterie mate. That's what it is.
Lorraine.
Who said that?
Oh, sorry.
No, I have the note. I just didn't want to check it. So,
Sorry.
people forget stuff sometimes. No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's okay.
But I'm glad Herkermer has taken to shaving and dressing better, because if we're going to go to the fancy west side of the river, we're going to have to, I guess, act all high and mighty.
We can keep talking. Why don't we head over to your buddy Mitch's house, see if he's still there?
Well, he would be at work if it was really him, but his car was at the warehouse.
Yeah, I'm just saying, maybe we should see if we can find Mitch.
Yeah, I'd like to see if I could find Mitch as well.
See if it's something, that can be resolved quickly, kind of a thing.
Yes, Lilith.
Do I know where Mitch works? Like, in what part of the hospital he works?
I would say no. There's a lot of people who work in the hospital. You know that he works with basically lab test. We're not lab testing, but a lot of what he does is basically go to patients and take blood, from them and that sort of, or
Oh, he's a phlebotomist. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
more or less just like a nurse that just goes and does a lot of, work with blood donations or blood draws and things like that.
I'm gonna call the hospital and try to get a phlebotomist nurse so that I can find out if there is a Mitch working. Wait, I'll look over at Herkermer. What's Mitch's last name?
Sloan.
Sloan?
Sloan.
Okay. So I'll call the hospital.
You call the hospital? And
yeah.
St. Peregrine's Community Hospital. How can I help you?
Can I be transferred to the lab department, please?
Oh, get transferred over?
Hi, can I speak to Mitch Sloan, please?
I'm sorry, Mitch Sloan has not shown up today. He's not here today.
Oh. Okay, thank you. I'll hang up and I'll look over at Herkermer. He's dead.
We don't know that he's dead. We're still checking.
How do you know what they told me on the phone?
I mean, I'm responding to what you just said. Like,
into my conversations.
Do they have his body at the hospital? Is that what you're saying?
That's probably what they said to me. No, they said that he didn't show up for work today. Wait a minute. Maybe he's tied up in his own closet in his own apartment.
Maybe he
Perhaps. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
we should go check the apartment. He's probably at the apartment. That's
That's a great idea. Why don't we go by great idea, Lilith. Great.
Thanks. Thought of it myself.
And Herkermer will start driving us to Mitch's house.
So you go to Mitch's house, sparing the description because we've been here before earlier in the evening. I
knock on the door first.
No answer.
I check to see if it's locked.
It is not, actually. Oh no, he did. He locked up as he was walking out. Sorry. So yes, it is.
All right. Well, I will get down to picking said lock again.
There's no need to make a roll because you've already picked the lock once before, and you have enough time, and there's really no imminent, risk of discovery because it's pretty late in the night. So you're able to unlock the door and you go in.
Step inside. Yeah.
Same description as I had given before. Basically, the same house, except for a lot, furniture as though somebody had moved out is gone. There's no knickknacks and things like that, and it very much looks like it's a place in the wake of being rearranged because of somebody moving. Yes, Lilith.
I'm gonna walk through and I'm gonna stare at Hannibal, and I'm gonna start turning the lights on. As I turn the lights on, I'm gonna look over at Hannibal, and then I'll turn it off as he makes that face. I have a question. What is your aversion to light? Are you like an edgelord, or like, do you have light sensitivity, or what is?
Yep, that's the name of my clan, Edgelord. Yep,
I don't even know the name of your clan, and if I know it, I don't remember it.
that's because
Maybe we shouldn't. No, okay. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that here. Let's check the closets.
I agree.
So you indeed go into the bedroom closet and open the closet, and there you find Mitch's corpse. It looks like he has been bound, laid on the floor. There is a tube strapped to his mouth and running down like a very messy version of an intubation. And there is a bag of some sort of remnants of some sort of fluid.
Do we all find him, or is it one of those one of us finds him?
I'll say the Lilith was the one who's like, let's go search, and so she just immediately, so probably Lilith would find her first.
Okay.
Because you guys would split up to go look through
sure.
all the closets and stuff, right?
I'll peek my head out the closet and be like, guys, I found him.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's not touch him because we're going to have to call the cops.
No, we can't call the cops.
Why?
You know, as Hannibal comes into the room and peeks in on the situation. What's with the tube?
It looks like an intubation of some sort, a very crude intubation.
Well, an intubation, like, it's basically being fed into his stomach instead of his lungs, by the way.
Can I make either a crime scene or a medicine or an academics?
If you have medicine or any sort of forensic specialty,
Forensic science, I do have that.
you may. And Herkermer, you're very distraught. Are you able to assist? Or is...
If it's a medical thing, I would be able to, yeah.
Go ahead and add a die onto that for Herkermer's assistance.
Do I add a die since I have a specialty?
Yes.
Do I use intelligence?
Yes, and you are still suffering from the effects of the concoction, so you add another die on top of that.
Oh, jeez. Six successes.
With 6 successes, you determine that his body, he was not, there was no, other than him being bound, he wasn't, throttled. There was no physical cause of death, like as far as like stabbing or being beaten. It looks like he must have succumbed to some sort of poisoning. You notice that he has basically what are they called when he has punctures in his skin,
like track marks
that look and there is basically signs that maybe he had blood drawn, probably a lot of blood by the discoloration, but he has blood in his body. He does not look ensanguinated in any form. And the substance in the little, it looks like basically a big 2-liter bottle that's been kind of strapped and taped, right? And it's been hung with a little carbs to force the to force the fluid down. But it looks like a thick red viscous, like he was fed blood. While he was being, you don't notice where the blood might have gone. You do notice some stains on the carpet from leakage and exposure from being a very messy sort of job. But as far as physical death, probably some sort of poisoning. Because, yes.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting till you were done and
maybe some sort of drowning. Like he possibly could have drowned. You need to be able, but you don't notice any fluid in his lungs or hear any fluid in his lungs necessarily. Other than that, it's really difficult to tell without an autopsy, of course.
If he was being fed kindred vitae, it should have healed him and not killed him.
I don't think he was being fed kindred anything. Desmond works with normal blood and he makes things with it. So he might have fed it to him to get it in his system and then take it out of him and put it in the bags.
So what you're saying is that Desmond used Mitch's body like some sort of pressure cooker?
I can see it working like that, yeah.
Do you do shit like this?
No. You saw me cooking. You saw me cooking at Lillith's house. And that's all I do. I cook on a stove, for lack of a better word.
But you could do this.
I don't know what he was doing, so I don't know what doing this would do. But no, I wouldn't do this. This is too far. There is no discovery worth this.
I can possibly make this seem like it was a accidental poisoning of some sort. But we are going to have to call the cops.
I mean, the question becomes, do you want the cops involved, asking questions, potentially poking holes in the story? Or would it make more sense for, after having broken up or being broken up with, he decided to move away?
Can we make it seem that way?
A lot easier than potentially covering up whatever people find if they show up here. Cops especially, because they're going to comb through this whole place and we don't know what other shit Desmond might have left here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Plus, if he dies, it's going to put Emily in a weird spot too, right?
Well, I think she deserves to know.
I'm just saying, like, how would we even paint this off? Like a suicide or something? Accident?
Accident.
Doesn't it seem a little suspect that so close to them having broken up, he accidentally dies?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be better if we just say he goes missing and then perhaps later down the road.
I think moving away is better. Missing causes a whole world of anguish.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Hannibal will go look for, take the shower curtain, things like that. Start wrapping up the body, trying to put any evidence into it,
Sure.
Wrapping it up, sealing it.
Yes, love.
With my role, could I have discerned how long he's been dead?
Not too long. He's only been dead maybe a couple hours.
Wow.
It looks like it took a fairly long time to die, too.
My character is going to try to stealthily feed it blood.
Well, since the only other people in the room would be the Hannibal and Herkermer, and we don't allow rolls against other players, so are you guys okay with saying that she can slip it some blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say that Hannibal, even if Hannibal notices, he won't make mention of it. If that's okay.
That's
that
fine.
Hannibal, because he's looking for clues and things, he's looking around the room alone, that perhaps he notices, but he won't stop Lillith. He won't mention it.
Just before I go in with the explanation, what are your motivations for doing this? Just curious.
She wants to see what happens, if it'll bring him back to life.
Okay. You draw your, maybe poking your hand a little bit or something, manage to draw some vitae out. And as you're picking him up, the palm, like you say you stab your hand and then will out. Go ahead and give me a rouse check, by the way.
I gain a hunger.
It's okay, you were at 2.
Yep.
You put your hand over his mouth after you had removed the what was attached. And you will the vitae out of your palm into his throat. And you're both going to pick him up and wrap him. And the body starts flailing around in a madness, like as he's being wrapped in plastic, like it's completely scares the shit out of both of you. Just saying, like dead guy just starts moving.
Hannibal will unwrap him.
You put him down. You drop him. And go ahead and give me a strength plus athletics or strength plus brawl. Both. Yes.
Okay. Three.
You're so lucky. Okay, he's going to grab at your arm. He's very obviously in frenzy.
Okay. I will...
And he's trying to not let go, basically.
I'm gonna look over at Hannibal and be like, do I feed him? What do I do?
Yes, Hannibal.
Did you say frenzy as in vampiric frenzy?
You see fangs in his mouth, sort of frenzy, yes.
I'm gonna grab him and pin him down.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a same sort of test.
Can I assist?
Yes, you can. You can together add 1 die, and if Herkermer is assisting, so go ahead and add 2 dice to the attempt to everybody holding him down.
Oh no.
Do I get to add my potence?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys succeed. I rolled three ones on red dice.
Okay.
I only got 1 success, so yeah, you guys totally have it. Just before you know, don't even bother.
I still want to see.
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys can mess a critical, so yeah, go ahead and or you can messy critical or something. Did you messy critical?
Yes, I did. Yes, literally you said that. Unless you messy critical, and then I looked across it and I saw, oh, one with the fangs and another critical. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's awesome. So you break his arm, and he's definitely pinned to the ground. And you look to have done severe amounts of damage to him.
I'm gonna feed him as he's pinned to the ground because I'm assured he's not gonna grab onto me.
Okay, so you manage. He's no longer flailing, no longer trying to bite you or do damage to you. You feed him vitae until he calms down. And he's just like and he kind of seems to not like be like staring around with like in a sort of disoriented fashion. You remember the sensation. Each one of you have felt this sensation. The look on his face is very familiar to you, as you have that look before as well. Is the dysphoria and confusion that follows the wake of an embrace.
Holy shit, what did I do?
You did that?
I didn't want him to be dead.
Normally, you would have had to have drained him. Are you sure that you embraced him?
He's got fangs.
Yeah, perhaps he could have been a kindred before this.
Oh, maybe
he died in the back of an ambulance almost.
Maybe he was in torpor and not dead.
He's like, oh, what the fuck's happening, man?
Hey, wake up. So you died. And you're alive again. Well, sort of, now. So we should go.
What the fuck's going on, dude?
You have no idea. We have so much to talk about.
We'll explain later.
Yeah,
Get up,
but
get
we gotta
dressed.
go. Yeah.
Herkermer?
Yeah, I'm here. Just get up and get dressed. We'll take care of you.
Yeah.
He gets up, and his arm is like when you broke his arm, you did like you went ha! And it was like completely distorting apex backways over in an angle that was just not right.
Can I motion to one of our medically trained, probably Lillith actually,
I'll just grab him and not say anything and just snap his arm back in place.
at least setting the bone.
Yeah, setting the bone.
Reset the bone, and he's like, ah. But he's able to hold it, still damaged. And he's looking at it like, what the fuck? Like surreally, like looking at his arm. And he kind of seems to like in a daze, not really kind of knowing what's going on, but just kind of following orders as people tell him to do things. Seems to follow you. He's like, what's going on? And you manage to without provoking him or get him dressed. He was already dressed. He was just in his normal scrubs. But you managed to clean him up enough to leave, and you put a coat over him, let's say, and leave, get in the car, and drive back to the coterie haven, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so we'll go back to that point. You basically just brought him into the coterie haven. You sat him down. He's now a little bit more aware. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I here?
I can't. Well, you're not going to believe us. So, you are dead. You are not human anymore.
Yeah, right. What happened to the weirdo who fucking assaulted me?
He's taken care of.
Yeah.
He's the one that killed you.
Yeah, I remember pretty vividly. He fucking chained me into the goddamn closet, and then he hooked up, he started fucking siphoning blood from me. And then he fucking shoved that tube down my throat. I was sitting there for hours being force-fed it. I felt like I was dying. Like, I definitely fucking, oh my god, dude, it was like the sickest I've ever been.
You've been dead for a couple of hours.
I was in that closet, like, for 2 whole days.
Here's the thing. You're a vampire. And I don't know who turned you into a vampire.
Herkermer, what the fuck's going on, dude?
You're a vampire. Here, let me show you. And Herkermer will pull out a pocket knife and then cut the back of his hand with the pocket knife. And then I'm going to do a rouse check to heal.
Sure.
And I succeed.
As you do a rouse check, because you're still under the effects, you will
take another ag.
You will take 1 more aggravated damage as you feel a fire reignite. You see Herkermer bend over. As he heals, he manages to finish. He's like, "Hey," and then he's like, and you notice like fumes spitting out from his mouth.
Dude, you're a dragon.
You've seen this before on Greyson.
Holy shit.
At that point, Mitch is like, "Holy dude, I don't know, a fucking vamp. What is going?" And he seems to be like not being able to absorb the information. You know what I mean? Like, he's looking at his arm, he's looking at Herkermer with shit coming out of his mouth. He saw very obviously the healing that he had done. As he's looking at his arm. By the way, you notice that he's not pallid or pale in reflection. Only when he was frenzied did he readily apparent. He does have he popped fangs, as it were. You notice that he has a very fleshy, blushy sort of appearance.
Oh, he's one of you, Herkermer.
And he's just, I don't really know what's going on. Oh my god. He's pretty incoherent. You guys, go ahead and give me just to, so we don't like go back and forth between somebody who's like basically hysterical. One of you could take point on rolling an empathy challenge.
Empathy and what?
See if you can calm him and convince him, or maybe a persuasion to convince him.
Empathy and what?
I would say
empathy's not a skill.
Oh yeah, persuasion.
He means insight, I believe.
No, insight would be. Oh yeah, it is not. Sorry, empathy's. There's additionism.
Insight is empathy. Insight is the ability to read people and understand like how they're feeling and their emotions and things like that, right?
Okay, so
is that what you mean?
I would say if you want to calm him down enough.
Charisma?
You could use either insight or persuasion, and you can use charisma. You should be using charisma because it's you're not trying to trick. There's no subtlety here because you're dealing with hysteria. Does one of you want to take point at which one of you wants to take point?
I have 4 dice. Does anyone have higher? No? Okay. Does anyone want to help? Can I take another dice for that?
Yep.
I got 5. And what's a critical success?
If you receive 2 10s.
So 2 of these?
Yes.
I did it. Okay, so I got a critical success.
So you managed to calm him down. you manage to explain to him and prove to him, at least as much as can be proven in one night. You know, he's just like, I'm dead?
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
Well, this guy was insane, the guy that killed you. And we're trying to investigate what he was up to, but you were caught in the crossfire because you worked in the labs. And since you were delivering blood, he was trying to trick Herkermer and you were just in the way. And I thought that maybe I could feed you some blood and maybe make you alive again, and it kind of worked.
So what happens? What happens now? Like,
well, I guess for right now you're staying with us, and we'll figure out what to do. I still have my day job at night. 3 things. Don't let humans know about us. Don't drink another vampire dry, and the sun is bad. But you might be like Herkermer, so the sun might not affect you.
I was gonna see about teaching him that lesson when the sun come up.
what the fuck do I do? I have to work tomorrow.
Well,
You'll figure it out.
I guess I could call out. I mean,
yeah, you might want to do that.
Emily? Is she gonna be okay?
She'll be fine. She was attacked by that crazy guy, but that crazy guy's been taken care of.
Good, you found the motherfucker who attacked her.
Yeah.
Why did he attack her?
I don't know. Give me a minute. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna pull. Lillith pulls out her phone.
Yeah, it's the only part that doesn't make sense so far, is why he would attack her.
I'm gonna text message Deacon.
Okay. Deacon responds. He's like, what are you texting?
I'm just texting, you available, question mark?
Yeah. He says, yeah, what you need?
Meet me on the corner of so-and-so, and I'll give him directions to a street corner nearby to our HQ.
Why don't you just have him come here?
Because it's phones, and I don't trust him.
Oh, I see.
So you wait the appropriate amount of time until he arrives, and then you guide him back to the coterie haven.
Yeah.
When you meet him on the creek corner, do you say anything to him, or you just tell him to follow along?
Just tell him to follow along.
Okay. He follows along. He looks a little concerned, but not too out of place.
Okay.
Much more collected than he was earlier. He comes walking in.
So I think I fucked up.
What's going on?
Point at Mitch. He was dead, or deadish, and I fed him blood, and he came back up in a frenzy. Like, he had been dead for a couple of hours. I don't know if he was in torpor already and already turned, or if I turned him.
Did you drain him?
No.
Was he drained?
Not that I could tell, no.
As far as I know, that's how you do it. I've never actually done it, so... But the way it was explained to me, at least, is if I wanted to make one, or one of us, you drain him and then you feed him. So maybe he was in torpor. Or somebody else, like... But he should have been awake.
I don't really know what I'm going to do here. So I figured I'd ask somebody with experience that's been around for a while.
And you asked me?
I don't know, you've been around for a while. Longer than most of us.
I don't know. It looks like your man over here like is more experienced than I am. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. What do I pay you for?
Yeah, as far as I know, that's how you make another one of us. So I don't know. I don't think you, if he wasn't drained, if you did not drain him, because the thing is, you have to do it right after you drain him, right? Otherwise, they just die.
So maybe he embraced him and was using him as a blood bag.
Yes, Hannibal.
Was Lillith having this conversation inside, or are you guys?
Yeah.
outside?
Yeah. No, we're having it
okay.
inside right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we heard all this.
Yes.
Okay, I was just double checking. Cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
Hey, Mitch. Sorry.
I guess we're under the. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, are we going to get in trouble for this, or is he going to be killed, or?
None of us, it looks like, if that's true, made him. Desmond made him. The Red Queen's already aware of him. Well, not of Mitch, but of Desmond. So,
Yeah.
Next time we check in, we can just mention to her that Desmond apparently made a kid before we captured him.
Okay.
Who's Desmond? That's as Deacon says.
That's the guy that killed Mitch.
Oh, okay. So did you have any other questions? I don't want to interrupt you guys' posse, like discussing interior secrets,
We don't have secrets right now. But I don't know what to do.
Well, I would keep him safe here until you can teach him a thing or two. You say he's... How old was Desmond?
I'll look over at Herkermer.
He was a thin blood.
Oh. Yeah, that's an unknown trail to navigate. I don't know shit about thin bloods. So, maybe try teaching him just like you normally. From what I understand, you guys can like walk in the day and set yourself hair on fire or all kinds of weird shit. So, my guess is you'd probably know more than I would.
Herkermer, you can set your hair on fire?
Well, anybody can set their hair on fire.
But spontaneously?
Well, no. No, and also if I were to set it on fire externally, it would wind up being very bad for me.
You may want to, if you do end up, needing to hook him up with a place or somebody, I noticed I went by Smokes' place because he told me to kind of work with him on shit, and it's kind of as I thought.
That was Greyson.
Well, no, Greyson was working with him, but Lillith here was asked if I was feeding from Smokes' place. So I decided to drop in by, and it's as I thought. He's kind of not. He has I did notice that there was a thin blood or two. That he had invited over, so maybe he's working with them. Bringing in new supplies or something. I did just know,
I'll look over at Hannibal. Maybe we should go talk to them.
Yeah. I had meant to invite Greyson over here, so gives us a good reason to stop by.
Okay.
Yeah. I've since secured my own stuff. I think I got anyway. Yeah, there's some bands in town, and just put the word out that I'm producing music again. And
Deacon.
Yeah.
there's probably some other things you can do to help out around here too.
Sure.
As it stands, you're technically the most tutored kindred in the territory.
That's, yep. My sire did make sure that
Yeah.
this was a
So
thing.
perhaps, especially in the case of Mitch here, that Herkermer can teach him the ins and outs of being, what they are, and you could help tutor him as well as Herkermer and whoever else needs it in sort of the laws of the land, as it would be.
Sure. I wasn't let out too much, so like I don't have a lot of like functional experience. I know more about at this rate people around here than I do like across the river, but I can give you what I know.
I can teach those sorts of things.
Sure.
I'm less versed in the things you're versed in, such as about the Camarilla and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
The laws and the rules and all that sort of stuff. So, that is something that I presume you have experience with, and something that you could teach. So,
yeah, I can help out. Yeah.
Plus, you're welcome to come here anytime. By the way,
I didn't know this place was here, but yeah.
Well, I thought we had mentioned it to you or something. Maybe Charlie had meant to and forgot or something. I don't know.
Well, you guys have been banging around, so I didn't know what you guys, I knew you guys were setting up a place. But yeah, sure. Do you want me to keep this like sort of on the DL? Like, is this like a thing that everybody in the area that is in our patch can know about, or is this like?
Wait, about what?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was supposed to be the place that we were comfortable with people knowing about.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that we wanted to create a place that we were comfortable with other kindred knowing about, so that they don't go looking for our havens, right? So they have a place they can meet us, but then we still have our private home. Yeah. Right.
Okay,
so,
that's fair.
I mean, that's what I presume, was that this was the public space, right? So yeah. So I mean, Smokes will know, knowing if they need to find us, this is a place they can go.
Yeah.
You, etc.
Sure. Oh, it's night's getting long. I'm gonna, get back before,
yeah, keep making your music.
I don't think anybody's told you, but Tithe is coming up, and it's kind of like an informal custom that people show up to a gathering, right? She doesn't like doing gatherings too much because of hunters, but Tithe is the one place that you're gonna, even if you're not paying it, you still got to kind of show. It's kind of like it's a kind of their one lasting ceremony in this place,
Are we supposed to dress fancy or something?
No.
I mean, did you see the way they were dressed last time we went? I think it's just, come as you are sort of a thing.
Yeah. So, I just didn't know if because I know they don't bother telling anybody shit around here. So. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll be back tonight.
Did you want to come with us to the thing?
Well, I got to, because I owe her.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, anyway, I'll be back tonight to deal with her, Mitch. Hey, welcome to the party. That was probably insensitive. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I gotta go.
Are we still on for the Netflix thing, Desmond? Or Deacon?
Oh,
not Desmond. Deacon.
Dude, yeah, D-Names and me, right?
You were telling me about some show. I'll come by.
Oh yeah. I'm also setting up a studio. It's just like, because right now I'm working in an apartment. It's really super awkward, but I'm setting up a studio. So
cool.
I'll let you know when I get all set up and everything. But
sure.
Yeah, she told you about my sire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just letting you know.
Yeah, your family's welcome to visit.
She won't.
I already told him that.
But if you turn her down, she probably won't like it either.
I think, unless Charlie has an issue with it, which, I don't know if Charlie will be able to go or not. I don't have an issue. Doesn't seem like Lillith or Herkermer does, so.
Yeah. She said she was going to pull some strings to see if she can, because she has favors on the prince, apparently. So she may be able to get it lifted for a night or something.
I think Charlie would appreciate that.
Yeah. She's pretty influential, so. Like I said, and she said, seems to me like she was pretty pleased. So, I'm gonna go. It's awkward now. Bye. Party on. And he walks out.
So, I'll look over at Mitch. I think you can walk in the sun, so you'll be able to keep your job.
Well, that's not an everything. That's not an all thin blood thing.
But isn't?
No. As far as I know, Desmond couldn't walk around in the sunlight.
He could or couldn't?
Could not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I only saw him at night.
Okay, so maybe you can't walk.
So, like, thin bloods have all sorts of different, like, weird shit?
Apparently. Between me and Desmond, as far as I know, he didn't walk around in the daylight. But I think he could, because he's the one who attacked Emily. I don't know.
The attack happened at night.
Oh, did it happen at night?
Yeah, it was at night. Well, then I presume because Mitch is your friend and you have experience, that you'll keep an eye on Mitch.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I gave him blood. I call dibs.
You're not a thin blood.
I don't give a shit.
Just because you woke him up from torpor doesn't mean he's your baby. Like,
he may be my baby. Maybe he'll give me a purpose for living, Hannibal.
Wait, hold up. What generation are you, Lillith?
What's that?
Did your sire never talk to you about generation?
No.
Okay, so they're generations of kindred, right?
Okay.
They're neonates, which is more or less what we all are. And the elders are gone, or at least most of them are. And then there's Scylla, I think is what it's called. So based on what your sire was, will determine sort of what generation you are. So did your sire ever mention to you if they were also a neonate or anything like that?
No. I told you the 3 things my sire told me.
Okay. Well, maybe I could ask Dutch then. Maybe he'll know.
Okay.
Because the reason I ask is because if your sire was an Ancilla and embraced you, that means that you, when you make a kid, it'll be a kid and not a thin blood.
Oh.
From what I understand. But
okay.
If your sire is also a neonate, then there's a chance that your kid would be a thin blood.
Oh.
Does it? I know that seems confusing, but it's just like, yeah.
So any final words before we close it out? Okay. So leaving more questions about Lilith's background and her sire, with Mitch, a newly embraced vampire from somebody, sitting watching very confused at the conversation and speechless. Herkermer, you have suffered some harm tonight. Remind me again how many stains you have? 2. Okay. Oh, that's right, because the one was alleviated. So by my count, that would leave 2 boxes. So roll for me 2 dice.
I got 1 success.
Okay, so the stains are removed. And you do not suffer any humanity loss.
Good, I ain't got much more of that to lose.
And you are faced with the damages that have been inflicted upon you and those you have cared about sitting in front of you. Reminder, a dangerous reminder of how damaging obsession can be. And with that, we will close this chapter of Dark City.